Chapter 26:12. Time zipped by. Soon 9 years had passed. During the 9 years, the Heaven Dao realm was peaceful. Nobody went in, and the Heaven Dao realm was never opened. Only Lu Li and the other two stayed in there. 9 years was not a long time, but it was not a short time either. For an old warrior, it was too short. But for a young warrior, it was a long time. Lu Li had made great progress during the 9 years. His physical body was more than 10 times stronger. His physical body should be as strong as a warrior at the peak of the fifth tribulation. His defensive abilities were improved, and so were his soul and divine energy. He had a solid foundation. The heaven water of Lunar was no longer effective for Lu Li. He had been cultivating here because Xiang Linglong was cultivating here, and Qi Dingdong was studying the marks of Dao in the cabin as well. Xiang Linglong had made more progress. She had absorbed a lot of heaven water of Lunar. Her frigid dragon energy was close to a qualitative change. She believed she could make the breakthrough in half a year at most. By then, she would be in a different world. He had made progress on the 11 mysterious characters. Lu Li believed he could finish them in 3 to 5 months at most. By then, he would have mastered the skill, and it would be powerful. But he didn't make much progress on the soul skill. Dao Heaven skill was too profound. He would have to spend more time on it. Lu Li was not in a hurry. He planned to cultivate here for a few more years. The Dao Heaven realm was very peaceful, but the outside world wasn't. The Qi clan's intelligence hall was investigating the frigid sea domain and discovered some abnormalities. A few old demons had mysteriously disappeared without any warning. There were also a few elders of the big families who had mysteriously disappeared. These big families were all searching for them, but after searching for a few years, there was no news. This caught Qi Wangshan's attention. Qi Tianyu had used evil skills to summon the demon lord from the Abyss of Devils. Therefore, the Abyss of Devils might have located this place. The missing warriors might be controlled by the Abyss of Devils. Qi Wangshan sent out many scouts to search the entire Frigid Sea. For the Qi family, the Frigid Sea was their territory. They would not allow the Abyss of Devils to encroach on this place. After searching for half a year, they finally found some clues. They found traces of a missing elder of a large family near a dangerous place, and that dangerous place was shrouded in black fog, with dark clouds covering the sky. It was obvious that there was a problem. Qi Wangshan immediately gathered all the patriarchs of the major powers. After discussing for half a day in the space city, all the patriarchs returned and gathered their experts. Half a month later, over 100 experts gathered outside a large island. The name of this island was very fitting. It was called Devil Island. It was said that in the past, this island had been controlled by an old demon who had left behind many terrifying divine inscriptions. Ordinary martial artists would die without a doubt if they entered. The master of this island had been dead for many years, but the divine inscriptions were left behind. Many people wanted to enter the island to search for treasures, but none of them came out alive. Gradually, this place became known as the Devil Island. At this moment, it was as if the demonic island really were haunted. Dark clouds covered the entire sky, and black mist was billowing everywhere. It was impossible to see what was going on inside, and one could sense a cold and evil aura from afar that struck one with extreme discomfort. More than 100 people from the great clans had come. There were 5 quasi-emperors and more than 50 feudal lords. The rest were late-stage 5 tribulation and peak 5 tribulation experts. The lineup was very powerful, and it was clear how much Qi Wangshan valued the Demon Abyss. This group of people did not rashly enter. Instead, they chose to push the ground forward, blasting away the divine inscriptions on the periphery bit by bit, preparing to completely flatten this Devil Island. This strategy was very good. When more than half of the divine inscriptions on the island were destroyed, more than 10 experts rushed out of the island. Some of them were the missing old demons, and the missing experts of the various clans were all here. These people looked no different from ordinary people, but this group of people did not seem to recognize Qi Wangshan and the others, and they began to crazily attack. When Qi Wangshan saw this group of people coming out, he immediately felt relieved. He did not even make a move, and only waved his hand, telling the group of people to attack. He was almost certain that this group of people had all been controlled by the demonic souls of the demon abyss, and were no longer pure humans. Fortunately, because of Chi Tianyu, they had been constantly monitoring the frigid sea domain. Otherwise, if the people of the demon abyss had secretly controlled some experts without them noticing, things would have gone out of control. When the demonic souls of the demon abyss finished planning and launched a surprise attack, something big would happen in the frigid sea domain. Now that the signs had just appeared, they could be annihilated, and there would not be too much turbulence. The more than 10 experts controlled by the demon abyss were quickly killed, and on this side, only 7 or 8 people died, and they were all Fifth Tribulation experts. Not a single overlord died. The most important thing was that this side had sent out a quasi-emperor, and there was only one quasi-emperor among the more than 10 people. The disparity in strength was too great. After these people were killed, figures that looked like green smoke came out of their souls, like malicious spirits. Qi Wangshan had long been prepared, and took out a precious treasure to disperse these demonic souls. The entire demon island would eventually be razed to the ground. After the divine inscriptions were dispersed, this island was smashed by a palm strike from a quasi-emperor of the Qi clan and disappeared from the entire sea domain. After Qi Wangshan brought people back, he let the intelligence hall continue to monitor the frigid sea domain. At the same time, Qi Wangshan used the name of the Qi clan to send a message to the great clans of the various continents and seas, telling them to pay close attention to the movements of the demon abyss and prevent it from infiltrating. The message from the Qi clan attracted the attention of many great clans. Of course, some clans did not take it seriously and thought that there was no need to fear the demons and monsters of the demon abyss. If they really dared to attack, they would definitely not be able to return. During this period of time, many clans in the entire third heaven also began to search, and indeed found traces of the demonic souls in some places. Some of the demonic souls secretly controlled some experts and hid in the third heaven and began to secretly organize a plan. 1 month later, a piece of news came from the Divine Wind continent, shocking the entire continent. There was a domain in the Divine Wind continent that was actually completely controlled by the demon abyss, and all the experts were controlled by the demonic souls. If it weren't for the Qi clan sending a message to Mohan to secretly spread the news, the entire Divine Wind continent would have fallen. All the emperor-level experts of the Divine Wind continent were mobilized, and countless armies and experts were mobilized to surround that domain and began to clean up. This news spread very quickly, and this time, the entire third heaven was shaken. If the frigid sea domain was just a small matter, then the Divine Wind continent was an earth-shaking matter. How big was the territory? How many martial artists were there? And how many experts were there? All of them were actually controlled without a sound. If it was not discovered now, in a few years, wouldn't dozens of territories be secretly controlled? This time, the great clans of the various regions couldn't sit still, and they sent countless scouts to begin to search, to see if the demonic souls had also infiltrated their territories. With this search, the entire third heaven was in an uproar, and the frigid winter continent was also infiltrated by 2.5 territories. A huge passage appeared in the northernmost North Plains continent, and countless demons and monsters rushed out of it. Chapter 26:13. The name Demonic Abyss once again resounded throughout the third heaven. In fact, if it wasn't for this incident, 99% of the people in the third heaven probably wouldn't have heard of the Demonic Abyss. The last time the Demonic Abyss invaded the divine world, there were more than 2 million of them. It was said that there were many saint emperors in the third heaven at that time, but after that war, the number of saint emperors in the third heaven decreased sharply. Now, many people had saint emperor fragments because of that war. Many saint emperors fell, and a large number of monarch and lord-level experts died. Countless saint emperor fragments and monarch weapon fragments were scattered everywhere. That era was called the Darkest Era, and this period of history was buried in the dust of history. Because it was too tragic and dark, people didn't like to talk about it. It was said that the person in power at that time also said that this matter was not to be discussed. Gradually, other than the records of the great clans, the people forgot about that period of time. They only knew that more than 2 million years ago, humans had experienced a dark era. Now that the demonic abyss army had descended again, this period of history was brought up and slowly spread by the descendants of the great clans. Soon, it spread throughout the third heaven. The entire third heaven began to panic. In the past, there were so many saint emperors in the third heaven, and they had to work together to resist the demon abyss army and chase them away. Now, there was not a single saint emperor. Could the third heaven still resist the demon abyss army? The reincarnation emperor gave the world the answer. After discovering the invasion of the demonic abyss army in the northern plains continent, Reincarnation Emperor opened countless space gates in the space city in just 5 days and spread the declaration he wrote across the world. The Reincarnation Emperor explained the terror of the demonic abyss army and called on all the people of the third heaven to resist the demonic abyss army. He speculated that the demonic abyss didn't have any demon ancestor level experts, which meant that they didn't have any saint emperors. Otherwise, they would have attacked the third heaven long ago. Therefore, only when all the experts of the third heaven united would victory belong to the third heaven. He also stated the pros and cons. If the third heaven didn't work together, the demonic abyss army would continue to come in and attack them one by one. In the end, the races of the third heaven would be enslaved by the demonic abyss army. At the same time, the Reincarnation Emperor stated that the spatial city would build space gates in all the continents and send people to the Northern Plains continent for free. He invited all ambitious people to go to the Northern Plains continent to resist the demonic abyss army. The Reincarnation Emperor was one of the strongest emperors of the third heaven. His prestige had always been high and attracted many people's response. Many great emperors immediately responded, calling for everyone to go to Northern Plains continent. 10 days later, a piece of news came from the Northern Plains continent. The demonic abyss army was too powerful. Although the Northern Plains continent's 3 emperor-class powerhouses immediately led their powerhouses and armies to suppress it, they were easily defeated by the demonic abyss army. One overlord had fallen, and the other 2 overlords were gravely injured. More than 30 overlord experts had died, and 1 million soldiers had perished. The news spread through the information channels of the space city, and the third heaven was in an uproar. The demon abyss army was so powerful, and if the third heaven did not unite, all of the races would perish, and the third heaven's calamity would descend. Dragon Rebel, Phoenix Empress, Sunlight Emperor, Rue Emperor. Countless emperor-level experts responded one after another. Countless armies and experts were teleported to the North Plains through the space gate of the space city. 10 days. In just 10 days, over 30 out of the dozens of emperors in the third heaven responded and immediately teleported over. Reincarnation Heavenly Monarch also brought the Chi clan's experts to Northern Plains continent. On the 19th day, one of the 3 most powerful emperors, Candle Sky Great Emperor, also responded and brought many experts to Northern Plains continent. This made countless people in the third heaven very excited. 2 of the 3 most powerful emperors were dispatched, and this rallying power was strong. With the gathering of countless experts, suppressing the demon abyss army was only a matter of time. There were also many old demons who volunteered. Some old demons might be doing this for their clansmen and family or for the third heaven. There were also some old demons who were seeking powerful opponents to break through themselves in battle. In 2 months, more than 10 million troops had gathered in the North Plains continent. These 10 million people were not low-level soldiers. The weakest among them was a 4th tribulation expert, and they all had a certain level of combat power. If they were only in the early or middle stages of the 4th tribulation, they would not be qualified to go there without a special killer move. After the Reincarnation Heavenly Monarch, Candle Sky Great Emperor, and the other emperors went there, the Demon Abyss army was suppressed and did not attack everywhere. However, the Demon Abyss army built demon puppets and stopped the Third Heaven Coalition army's counterattack. The reincarnation heavenly monarch was not in a hurry to counterattack. No one understood the demon puppets. If they attacked rashly, it was easy to suffer heavy casualties. In addition, the human race also needed to build a divine rune defensive formation and wait for more reinforcements. The Third Heaven Coalition Army did not understand the Demon Abyss Army. They needed time to familiarize themselves with it. In any case, they temporarily suppressed the Demon Abyss Army and suppressed them within a certain range. That way, there would not be any major problems. Countless divine rune masters were mobilized to build all kinds of defensive divine runes and powerful divine runes for the nearby cities. The reincarnation heavenly monarch's intention was not to win, but to protect themselves first. At the very least, they had to stabilize their position here and ensure that the Demon Abyss Army did not spread out. Only then could the Third Heaven continue to fight and finally eliminate or repel all the invading Demon Abyss Army. The Demonic Abyss also seemed to have the same idea. Countless mountains were transformed into demonic puppets. These demonic puppets were filled with black fog. Moreover, this black fog was not ordinary black fog. It contained a powerful poison. Ordinary martial artists would not dare to enter the demonic puppets. These demon puppets also had all kinds of strange arrangements and magical abilities. The Demon Abyss Army was clearly preparing to build a large number of demon nests first. This way, they would at least have a path of retreat. Behind them, the Demon Abyss Army could continuously come over. Once they had a firm foothold here, they could advance or retreat, attack or defend. Both sides built their own positions. The territory occupied by the Demon Abyss Army was not big. It was only about one territory. After another month, the human side built 8 bases in the 4 directions of the territory occupied by the Demon Abyss Army. With the 8 big cities as the center, they built a defensive circle. The Demon Abyss Army also built hundreds of thousands of demon puppets, forming several circles. A large area that was covered by rolling black clouds. No one knew what was inside. That piece of land had completely become demonic land. The first wave of battle between both sides also began. Both sides had a tacit understanding. They did not send out powerful martial artists. They only let the soldiers familiarize themselves with each other. Although there were strong martial artists holding the line, the strong martial artists did not participate. The Demon Abyss Army opened up 4 battlefields. They sent out armies to attack in all directions. Each side sent out millions of soldiers. The human side did not send out a corresponding number of soldiers. They had more Fifth Tribulation experts. The battle was very tragic. It was just the first round of battle. The battle lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. Both sides retreated. The casualty rate was as high as 30 to 40%. It should be known that the human side had less soldiers than the Demon Abyss Army. They had more Fifth Tribulation experts. The casualty rate of the human side was as high as 30 to 40%. This shocked countless people. Chapter 26:14. The battle between the Divine Wind Continent and the Chilly Winter Continent was not over yet. The Divine Wind Continent was a little better. At first, a group of great emperors led a wave of experts and armies to clear the area. Most of the experts that were killed, leaving only a few stragglers. Some devil souls controlled those people to disperse and sneak into various cities or mountains. From the outside, these controlled humans were no different from humans. If the devil souls restrained their aura, ordinary people would not be able to sense them unless they reached the Lord rank or soul cultivators. These devil souls were also very smart. They scattered and escaped into cities or mountains, which made the task of clearing and searching more difficult. The Divine Wind Continent had already mobilized many experts to the Northern Plains continent, so the speed of searching here was slower. However, the only reassuring thing was that a devil soul could only control one human. Now that the entrance of the devil soul's infiltration was sealed, there were only so many devil souls coming in. As long as these people were found and killed, at least the rear would be stable. The situation on the Chilly Winter Continent was worse. 2.5 domains were occupied. Although there was a great emperor in charge, it would take time to completely clear them out. The spatial gate of the space city was still continuously mobilizing the army to the northern plains continent. Ordinary martial artists were not qualified to teleport there yet. In fact, many fourth or even third tribulation martial artists wanted to go there. After all, there were so many great emperors there. This was a shocking battle. If they could survive this battle, it would be enough to brag for a lifetime. Many young descendants of clans also responded. These young masters and young ladies were all hot-blooded and excited. They all wanted to become famous in one battle. This time, it was not an internal battle, but a battle between two great worlds and two great races. Young people were always hot-blooded. They all wanted to be heroes and enjoy glory, flowers, and the favor of beauties. Therefore, countless young masters and young ladies of clans were dispatched. The young ladies were not actually going to fight, but to look for geniuses. This was a battle between all humans and foreign races. All the experts and young heroes of the third heaven would gather there. Slowly, more and more people gathered at the northern plains continent. The human army and the demonic abyss also began to fight hard. The four battlefields would have a battle almost every 3 to 5 days. This battlefield was called the Ice Cloud Territory. This land was originally covered with ice and snow. It was 10,000 miles white, but now it was 10,000 miles red. The experts of both sides are basically there. Apart from the first battle, the great emperors did not take action later. The demonic abyss didn't send any ultimate experts either. Both sides were more like exhausting each other's armies. The human race had no idea what was going on in the demonic abyss. It was pitch black inside the demonic abyss. No one knew what was hidden there. If there was a demon ancestor inside, a group of great emperors might not be able to come out. Therefore, both sides seemed to be in a stalemate, and the Ice Cloud Territory side had also become a meat grinder. This battle would probably not end in a short period of time. This was because the number of human martial artists were too high. If the clans used resources to cultivate great emperors, and demonic realm was the demonic world realm would be continent. The human race had too many martial artists. If the clans took out a lot of resources to cultivate them, they could quickly cultivate batches of fourth tribulation martial artists in a short period of time. It was very easy for a superpower to nurture a fourth tribulation martial artist. They could nurture a large number of them within a short time. Emperor Reincarnation and the others did the same. A group of emperors and clan masters gathered together. After a discussion, Emperor Reincarnation issued a summons on behalf of the clans. Martial artists who wanted to resist the demonic abyss army could come to the northern plains continent. Clans would provide them with resources to cultivate and increase their combat power. But after their combat power reached a certain level, they had to accept the arrangement to enter the battlefield to eliminate the demonic abyss army. After this summons was issued, the entire third heaven was in an uproar. How many third heaven martial artists were there? How many small martial artists wanted to stand out? How many low-level martial artists with no background and resources? Innumerable. This summons was equivalent to giving everyone a channel to rise. This channel was free and open. Everyone had a chance. The premise was that they had to fight the demonic abyss army after their combat power increased. Were third heaven people afraid of death? Yes, everyone was afraid of death. But when there was a chance to stand out, no one would cherish their life. For many people, the chance to stand out was more important. It was better to die a heroic death than to live a useless life. Countless people signed up and started to teleport to the spatial city. The teleportation formations in various places were also opened for free, allowing these people to teleport for free. This became a great migration of the entire third heaven. No one knew how many people were teleported. A conservative estimate was at least tens of billions of people. Of course, there were many people who wanted to fish in troubled waters. Some people didn't want to fight against the demonic abyss army. Some people didn't even want to go to the northern plains continent. They just wanted to take the teleportation formation for free. The entire third heaven was noisy. People came and went. Many people didn't feel afraid. Instead, they were very excited. The third heaven had been peaceful for too long. It was rare for such a big event to happen. This was a big event that could be recorded in history. 3 months passed. A piece of news spread. The third heaven, which had temporarily stabilized, was in chaos again. A hole suddenly appeared in the chilly winter continent. Many demonic abyss army rushed out. There were also demonic abyss experts here. For Thear-class experts went over. 2 were immediately seriously injured while the remaining 2 were defeated. If the demonic abyss army's invasion in the northern plains continent couldn't make the people of the third heaven afraid, the invasion of the chilly winter continent's demonic abyss army completely frightened all the people. The demonic abyss actually had so many experts and armies. They could actually support the invasion from both sides at the same time. Would they come back and invade from other areas? How could they resist when the world was filled with the demonic abyss army? The third heavenly layer experts reacted quickly. Great Thearch Candle Heaven immediately brought more than 10 Thear-class experts to the chilly winter continent. The situation in the northern plains continent was temporarily very stable. Both sides were fighting against each other. It was estimated that there would be no winner in a short time. Therefore, Great Thearch Candle Heaven dared to bring a group of experts to the chilly winter continent. If the situation here was unstable, the third heaven would also be in danger. The Chi clan was the busiest during this period. Therefore, all the people were mobilized to build the spatial doors everywhere. Now that the chilly winter continent was in a dangerous situation, a large number of reinforcements must be sent over. If they relied on martial artists to teleport over, it would be too late. They must rely on the spatial door of the spatial city to mobilize more martial artists to encircle and suppress the demonic abyss army as quickly as possible. For a moment, the third heaven felt the smoke of war and chaos everywhere. It was as if the end of the world was coming. Many questions lingered in everyone's mind. For example, why was the demonic abyss so strong? For example, why could the demonic abyss army easily invade the third heaven? Chapter 26:15. The world outside had been turned upside down, but the Heaven Path universe was still peaceful. Nobody came to disturb Lu Li, Yu Huashen, and Yu Huashen. They were quite comfortable in there. Anyone would feel comfortable cultivating in the primitive mystery realm. Cultivating here for 1 year was equivalent to cultivating outside for 10,000 years. Here, one soul could grow on its own. Anyone cultivating in such a blessed place would feel comfortable. Lu Li and Yu Huashen were still in the Lake of Moon. Lu Li didn't absorb the heaven water of Moon because it wouldn't enhance his body. Similarly, Lu Li wouldn't suffer any harm in the heaven water of Moon. It was no different from him cultivating on the ground. He was still in the lake because of Xiang Linglong. At the moment, Xiang Linglong was still encased in ice, floating in the Lake of Moon. She was like a sleeping beauty wrapped in ice. Her beauty was enchanting. There used to be mist in the lake, but it was no longer useful. When the ice was about to be broken, Lu Li would take Xiang Linglong up as soon as possible. In this way, there wouldn't be any problems. Xiang Linglong's frigid dragon energy was about to be transformed. Now it was time for the energy to transform into frigid dragon energy. During this time, Lu Li had made great progress on the 11 mysterious characters. It was almost time to carve them out. Whoosh! Half a day later, Lu Li flew up and cracked the ice encasing Xiang Linglong. Then, he carried her up. Xiang Linglong was alarmed. She was no longer shy when she realized that she was in Lu Li's arms. She had gotten used to it after being hugged by Lu Li so many times over the years. At first, she was naked in Lu Li's arms. That was nothing. Do you need some time to rest? Lu Li let go of Xiang Linglong and asked. Xiang Linglong shook her head and said, "No, I will cultivate for another 10 days or half a month. I should be ready. I must strike while the iron is hot." Whoosh! Xiang Linglong floated down. She froze herself with frigid dragon energy and kept floating above the Lake of Moon. This time, Lu Li didn't go into the lake. Instead, he went to the forest. He stood outside the forest. His hands glowed with divine energy. Then, he closed his eyes and began to draw in the air. The Xianxi in heaven and earth gathered toward Lu Li's hand. Then, a golden character appeared in the air. As soon as the word was formed, an inexplicable divine might emanated from it. The word floated in the air like a living thing. Luli suddenly opened his eyes and shouted, "Go!" Xiao! That gigantic character flew over, slamming into a huge tree. The divine inscriptions on the tree glowed brightly, and after that, the divine inscriptions were broken apart as the tree directly exploded. A heaven-shaking and earth-shattering sound of explosion rang out, causing the ground to tremble violently. Not bad. Li's eyes glowed. The power of the word was beyond his imagination. The divine inscriptions on the trees were horrifying, and they could be cracked so easily. This was only one word. If 11 words were condensed and carved at the same time and attacked together, the future would definitely be many times stronger. Give it a try. Luli tried to carve other words. When he finished, he released them at the trees. The forest suffered. Many trees were smashed. Muffled noises of explosions were heard in the valley, shaking heaven and earth. Whoosh! After a moment, a man flew out from the cabin. Chi Ding Dong had sensed what was going on with her psychic power from a distance. Luli's attack had alarmed her. Chi Ding Dong was shocked. She flew over, stood next to Li, and shouted, "Brother Lu, how come you know the innocent talisman?" Innocent talisman? Li frowned and asked. These 11 words are called innocent talisman. Yes, Chi Ding Dong said with certainty. My family patriarch created this. 3 of my forefathers know it as well. My family patriarch and my grandpa all know it. How did you learn it? I learned it from the 7-colored glazed pagoda. Luli took out the 7-colored glazed pagoda and explained with a smile. You have been in there as well. There are marks of laws left by the Reincarnation Emperor in there. I learned from those marks. Because of that, I can reverse control the 7-colored glazed pagoda. No wonder Chi Ding Dong thought about it for a while. He seemed to be relieved. Then he looked at Li with admiration and said, Brother Lu, you are amazing. Many people in our family are qualified to learn the honesty talisman, but only a few can. Chi Tianyu and I both tried, but we failed. I didn't expect that you could do it in such a short time. It was just a coincidence. Luli smiled and asked, how about you go in and study for a while? I will use the 7-colored glazed pagoda. It will be easier that way. Never mind. We will talk about it later. Chi Ding Dong shook her head and said, I haven't mastered the Taoist principle in the cabin yet. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. Let's talk about it after I learn this kind of Taoist principle. Also, it is said that there are 3 states of the innocent talisman, but only our family patriarch understands it. The others haven't. Our family patriarch didn't tell us the secret. He only said that you have to learn it on your own. This is one of the most powerful skills of our family patriarch. Brother Lu, you can study it when you have time. Wow, something suddenly occurred to Chi Ding Dong. He grabbed Li's hands and said, Brother Lu, you have learned the skill of our family patriarch. Then, you can be considered as half an apprentice of our family patriarch. When you go out, our family will not make things difficult for you. Our family patriarch may even summon you in person. He is broad-minded. I think not only will he not blame you, he might even accept you as his apprentice. Luli was intrigued. Become the apprentice of the Reincarnation Emperor? This was an unparalleled honor and a very good opportunity. The Reincarnation Emperor was one of the most powerful warriors in the third heaven. If the Reincarnation Emperor really wanted to accept him as his apprentice, Luli would not hesitate. With just a few pointers from the Reincarnation Emperor, Luli would benefit greatly. All right, kid, don't be so lovey-dovey in front of the flowers and under the moonlight. Right at that moment, Luli suddenly heard a message in his mind. It was from the Blood Evil King. He said, something big is happening at the third heaven. It is pointless for you to stay here. Go out and do your best. Or else, when the nest is overturned, everyone will suffer. Something big is happening at the third heaven? Luli frowned and put on a solemn expression. He didn't rush to ask what was going on. Instead, he asked, Evil King, how do you know something big is happening at the third heaven? Some places have built God's positions for me, and they have become my followers. Recently, Many people have been praying to my God's position. I have sent something. The blood evil king explained, the abyss of demons is invading. This is a disaster for all races at the third heaven. Even though you can improve quickly in the Heaven Tao realm, I don't think you can go out and fight against the armies of the abyss of demons. Personally, I suggest you go out and go to the front line to improve yourself. If the third heaven is occupied by the abyss of demons, your families and people will all be doomed. The armies of the abyss of demons are invading? Luli was confused. He asked, what is the abyss of demons? There are so many powerful warriors at the third heaven and so many Emperor Realm warriors. Can't they stop them? Haha. Chapter 26:16. Luli was shocked. So this was how so many ancient Saint Kings died? They were all killed by powerful warriors from the abyss of demons? How powerful was the abyss of demons? Could the third heaven survive the invasion of the abyss of demons? Luli and the Blood Evil King talked for a while. He decided to go out without hesitation. As the Blood Evil King said, when the nest was overturned, there would be no intact eggs. If the third heaven was destroyed, the second heaven would not be able to survive. Even though Luli couldn't change anything by going out, he could make a contribution. Luli, Qi Dingdong, and Xiang Linglong were powerful warriors, and they could kill some warriors from the abyss of demons. What the Blood Evil Sovereign said was right. Although he could improve continuously by cultivating here, he would improve faster if he went out to fight. His potential would be stimulated when he was in a life-and-death situation. It was easy for him to have an epiphany. After a while, Luli said to Qi Dingdong, Ding Dong, have you mastered the fundamental principle of the law? Qi Dingdong shook his head and said, just a little bit more. I'm stuck at a bottleneck. If I can break through it, I'll be able to complete it immediately. This will depend on my luck. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to break through very quickly. I'm going out now. Luli thought about it and said frankly, something big is happening out there. The abyss of demons is invading. The entire third heaven is going through a catastrophe. We must go out and help. What do you mean? Qi Dingdong was confused. She suddenly opened her eyes wide and asked, what did you say? Abyss of demons? The abyss of demons is invading the third heaven? How do you know? I have my ways. Luli didn't explain further. He said, you can trust me. Do you want to go out with me or stay here to cultivate? Yes, of course. Qi Dingdong didn't hesitate. She was in a hurry. She glanced at Xiang Linglong, who was in the ice, and said, I will go and wake Linglong up. She will go out as well. Let's wait. Luli shook his head and said, I think she will have made a breakthrough after she comes out from cultivation. There is no need to rush. Let's wait for her for 10 days or half a month. Okay. Qi Dingdong nodded obediently. Luli took her to the lakeside to sit with his legs crossed. Luli continued to study the Honesty Talisman, while Qi Dingdong continued to study the fundamental principle. Soon, 10 days had passed. The ice covering Exquisite Long's body had completely melted. At that moment, Xiang Linglong's body suddenly surged with cold air, once again forming a block of ice. This time, the ice felt different. It was like a crystal, sparkling and translucent. It was very beautiful. You succeeded? Luli suddenly opened his eyes, filled with joy. He had been with Xiang Linglong for a long time. Even though he had been suppressing his feelings, he still had some feelings for her. Between friends and lovers, it was a very ambiguous relationship. Luli was happy for Exquisite from the bottom of his heart. This self-reliant and proud heroine deserved everyone's respect. Also, Luli was optimistic about her future. She was also a seven-tribulation evil mammoth. If Linglong could rise, then so could he. Bang! The ice suddenly cracked. Xiang Linglong flew up. Her eyes were as bright as stars, and her pretty face was glowing. She was so beautiful. She spun around in midair and waved her hands. Strands of cold air circulated in the air, and soon they formed into ice dragons. Those ice dragons were different from the previous ones. They were more like pieces of art. They were crystal clear, beautiful, and gorgeous. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, the ice dragons flew out and smashed heavily into the forest. Trees exploded and large craters appeared on the ground. The entire ground shook violently, and the lake water also started to churn. The noise was deafening. Dust was flying up. The horrifying energy spread out. Even the space nearby was suffocating. Wow, 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 Chi Ding Dong screamed, her face full of shock. She had seen this true intent before, but the difference in power was like heaven and earth. It was at least several times more powerful, so it was no wonder she was so shocked. Good. Lu Li nodded. Xiang Linglong flew down. She looked at Lu Li with excitement and said, Lu Li, my cold dragon energy has leveled up. Congrats, congrats. Lu Li said with a smile. Given your abilities, you will be invincible below the level of lords. You can kill gods and Buddhas. You will be the most powerful warrior below the level of lords. Of course not. Xiang Linglong was a bit shy. Chi Ding Dong came over to congratulate her sincerely. Then she said, Linglong, Lu Li and I are going out. Do you want to come with us? Xiang Linglong looked at Lu Li in surprise. Lu Li should be cultivating here for dozens of years, or at least a couple of years. After all, there were so many marks here. How could he waste such a good opportunity? Do you know about the abyss of demons? Chi Ding Dong asked. Xiang Linglong was startled, then nodded slightly. Chi Ding Dong continued. Brother Lu said that the demonic abyss army has invaded. Right now, the third heaven is in dire straits. We should go out and fight against the demonic abyss army. Xiang Linglong was taken aback. She turned to Lu Li, who explained, I don't know the details. We will know when we get out. Do you want to come with us? How about 10 days? Xiang Linglong thought about it and said, How about we go and record all the marks? We cannot learn them now. We can find a chance later. As long as we can record them, there is hope. That's true, Lu Li agreed. Xiang Linglong was right. After they left, they might not have another chance to come back in. If they could record all the marks now, what if there was a chance to learn them later? What if there was an epiphany? 10 days was not a long time. If the third heaven could not survive for 10 days, then it would be pointless for them to go out. Lu Li nodded decisively and said, Okay, we will stay for 10 more days. We will go and record some marks. After 10 days, we will leave together. Lu Li and Xiang Linglong went into the cabin first. They recorded the marks in the cabin by force, including every detail and arrangement. Then, the three of them went to the Valley of Tao Seeking to find their own marks. There were many of such marks in the Valley of Tao Seeking. It took them 11 days to record all the marks. Even though they might not have all the marks, they could at least have an impression of them. Maybe they could have an epiphany later. Okay, Evil Emperor, how do we go out? Lu Li asked. The Blood Emperor answered, It is simple. You should go to the rocks region. Activate that formation first. When the time comes, I'll help you change it a bit. I'll cause the formation to become chaotic and produce spatial fluctuations. I'll guide it for you, and a spatial gate will appear. After that, you can leave. However, the exit might not be nearby, and I have no way of controlling it. You might even appear at the Ziyang land. Chapter 26:17. They did not find out what the Blood Evil Emperor said. When they came out from the Heaven Path realm, they found themselves above a sea area with surging cold tides in it. Chi Ding Dong and Xiang Linglong were overjoyed. For them, this sea area was like their backyard. They were home again. Lu Li was relieved to have a look. If they were at the cold waters, they could arrive at the space city quickly and teleport to the place where the abyss of Demon's army was invading. Let's go. Lu Li waved his hand. Wherever they were, the first thing they had to do was to find a place to gather information. After all, the information the Blood Evil Emperor had was not accurate or comprehensive. They must find out everything as soon as possible. This way, I remember there's an island over there. It belongs to the Ram family. Xiang Linglong didn't fly away. She pointed to the east and said. Lu Li followed Xiang Linglong. They flew as fast as they could and arrived at an island in 4 hours. Lu Li disguised himself as a middle-aged man using the transformation mask. Xiang Linglong and Chi Ding Dong were famous in the cold waters. He would be exposed if he didn't change his appearance. Their arrival at the island caused a sensation. The owner of the island was only at the middle stage of the fifth tribulation. He welcomed them in with respect. Soon, they learned about the situation outside. The situation was bad. There were bloody battles every day at the northern plains. Many warriors died every day. The situation at the chilly winter continent was stabilized because of the reinforcement from Emperor Candleheaven. But the abyss of demons was building many demonic puppets. The abyss of demons army swarmed in. Nobody could tell how many warriors there were at the abyss of demons. The only piece of good news was that almost all the major families had taken actions and offered a large number of treasures. Many warriors of the third tribulation and fourth tribulation were teleported to the northern plains and the chilly winter continent. Conservatively speaking, the number of warriors had reached 100 billion. Many of these people would not be going to the battlefield for the time being. They were all given pills, given secret manuals of divine incantations, and sent to some treasured lands to cultivate. Once they succeeded in their cultivation, they would be given treasures and sent to the battlefield to fight against the demon abyss army. In other words, the two battlefields had hundreds of billions of reserve warriors. The abyss of demons could not have hundreds of billions of warriors. The third tribulation could use the advantage of numbers to wear down the abyss of demons. A protracted war. This was a temporary strategy. At the same time, they began to investigate the specific number of experts in the demonic abyss. The most important thing was to investigate whether there were experts of the demonic ancestor level. If there were experts of this level, how should they deal with them? Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. If he didn't even have a clear understanding of the enemy's situation, how could he defeat the enemy? The reincarnation heavenly monarch and the others were all top-notch figures, and there were also many extraordinary people in the third heaven. In front of a great enemy, it was time for all the races to display their abilities. With the arrival of the third heaven's world-ending calamity, it was destined to give birth to some heroes or formidable characters. Of course, the prerequisite was for the human race to emerge victorious. If they failed, they would all be reduced to dust. After some discussion, Lu Li and the other two decided to go to the Ram Island of the Ram family first and then take the teleportation formation to the spatial city. Finally, they would take the spatial gate in the spatial city to the northern plains continent. Lu Li was worried about the situation at the chilly winter continent. After all, the Yin family was there, and so were his two brothers, Qinzhan. But the northern plains continent was closer to the chilly winter continent. Also, Xiang Linglong and Linglong would not go to the chilly winter continent. All the powerful warriors of their families were at the northern plains continent. What was more, there were many powerful warriors at the chilly winter continent, including several of Lu Li's sworn enemies. Phoenix Queen, Sunlight Emperor, and the others had gone to the chilly winter continent with Emperor Candleheaven. Lu Li didn't want to court his own death. If he went there and his identity was discovered, he might be killed. Actually, there was another important reason, which was that Lu Ling was at the northern plains continent. Lu Ling didn't know him yet, but he wanted to be closer to her. If anything happened, he could be of help. After the discussion, the three of them began to teleport. Lu Li wasn't worried about whether the Qi family would come after him. The Qi family had locked Qi Tianyu in the Netherworld realm for 10,000 years. Lu Li believed that the Qi family wouldn't come after him. He could just return the sovereign weapon. In 2 days, they were back at the spatial city. Qi Dingdong promised that if anything happened to Lu Li, she would commit suicide as an apology. In the Ram City, Qi Dingdong made some inquiries and found a secret agent of the Qi family to understand the situation. She took Lu Li to the space city with ease. Qi Dingdong and Xiang Linglong's appearance caused quite a stir at the spatial city. Many people of the Qi family knew that Qi Dingdong and Xiang Linglong were still in the Heaven Path universe. Patriarchs of the family were alarmed. 2 patriarchs came out at once to welcome Lu Li, Xiang Linglong, and Xiang Linglong. Lu Li noticed that the 2 patriarchs were looking at him with mixed feelings. There was a touch of hostility and envy. But on the surface, they were warm and friendly. Luli was relieved. No matter what, the chief family would not kill him. The two patriarchs welcomed Luli in and told him about the decree from the Reincarnation Emperor. Luli was taken aback. The Reincarnation Emperor really gave him the sovereign weapon and the position of patriarch. Chi Ding Dong was so excited that she was beaming. She was delighted by the chief family's attitude toward Luli. The chief family had acknowledged her lover. She wouldn't be in a dilemma anymore. At this juncture, Luli could not join the chief family and become a patriarch. Fighting against the abyss of demons was the priority. Everything else should be put aside. Luli declined politely. He said he would think about it after the abyss of demons was defeated. It was pointless to say anything now. If the third heaven was destroyed, the chief family would cease to exist. What was the point of joining the chief family? The patriarchs of the chief family didn't give up. They continued to persuade Luli to become an honorary patriarch. With this title, at least at the Northern Plains, nobody would dare to do anything to him secretly. After all, the Reincarnation Emperor was still there. Luli thought it made sense. The most important thing was that the title of honorary patriarch was a nominal position. Luli didn't have to work for the chief family. Instead, he could enjoy the treatment of a patriarch of the chief family. All he had to do was to lend a helping hand when the chief family was in trouble. The Reincarnation Emperor was one of the most powerful emperors at the third heaven. Unless the Reincarnation Emperor died in battle, the chief family would be fine. Therefore, the title of honorary patriarch only had benefits and nothing to do. It was said that this was a decree from the Reincarnation Emperor. This was a great honor. If Luli were to refuse again, he would be too pretentious and unappreciative. Luli nodded in agreement. The two patriarchs of a chief family were overjoyed. Since most of the patriarchs of the chief family were not here, the two patriarchs said they would send out a notice in the name of the Hall of Patriarchs. When there was a chance, they would gather all the patriarchs of the chief family and hold a grand ceremony for Luli. Chapter 26:18. The Northern Plains was located at the northernmost part of the third heaven. It was covered in ice and snow all year round, so it was named the Northern Plains. The temperature here was low. Of course, for warriors, the low temperature wouldn't affect them much. Even though it was covered in ice and snow all year round, there were many elixirs here. Some elixirs grew in the ice and snow and couldn't grow in other places. Therefore, they could be sold at a high price. Because of the harsh climate here, the physique of the warriors here was stronger than that of ordinary warriors. Every one of them had a strong physique, and the women were even more majestic. The place Luli and the others were teleported to was called the Big Dipper City. This was the second largest city at the Northern Plains and the base camp of the Lin family, a super family. This city was also regarded as the base camp of the rear. All warriors that came to the Northern Plains to fight would be teleported here and then sent to all the theaters of operations. So many people. Luli and the other two arrived at the south side of the Big Dipper City. As soon as they came out, they saw a crowd of people. Because there were too many people, it was hard to accommodate all of them. Therefore, many people had set up camps in the wild. Luli and the others glanced over. There were at least hundreds of thousands of colorful tents of various colors. Whoosh! A team of warriors in white armor came over. The leader was a warrior at the initial stage of the fifth tribulation. He was polite to Luli and the others. He cupped his fists and said, "Nice to meet you. May I ask where you are from?" Luli said nothing. Chi Ding Dong took out a token and said, "I am a disciple of the Chi family. We're going to the Chi family. You are a young lady of the Chi family." The smile on the leader's face was more amiable. The Reincarnation Emperor was more or less the commander here. This young lady looked young, but she was at the later stage of the fifth tribulation. She must be a young lady of the immediate Chi family. There are some patriarchs of the Chi family in the city. Please come with me. I will take you there. The leader led the three into the city. Chi Ding Dong asked about it and was surprised to find that her grandpa was here. He was one of the higher-ups in charge of the base camp. The three of them entered a huge manor. Second Patriarch had been informed, and he was waiting in front of a castle with several people. Chi Ding Dong's eyes turned red when she saw Second Patriarch. She rushed to him and shed tears. "All right, you're not a child anymore. Don't be so delicate." Second Patriarch patted Chi Ding Dong's head with a smile. After comforting Chi Ding Dong for a while, Second Patriarch looked at Lu Li and said, "Got a massacre. Congratulations on becoming an honorary patriarch of the Chi family. From now on, we are family." "Thank you, Second Elder." Lu Li cupped his fists. "I'm to blame for what happened to Chi Tianyu. Also, the sovereign weapon should be returned to the Chi family. There's no need to say more about Chi Tianyu's matter. He reaped what he sowed. As for the 7-colored glazed pagoda, it was given to you by the tribe leader. The tribe leader's words carry enormous weight, so you don't have to say anything more. Besides, you're now an honorary elder, so you can be considered a member of the Chi clan. Even if you have this sovereign weapon, it will still be in the hands of the Chi clan." "All right." Lu Li didn't decline anymore. Second Patriarch showed them in and asked them about their experiences in the Heaven Path universe. Lu Li gave a simple explanation. He didn't go into details about how he knew about the changes outside and how to get out. Second Patriarch didn't ask further. That was Lu Li's privacy. If Lu Li didn't want to talk about it, Second Patriarch wouldn't ask. Some patriarchs of the Xiang family were here, and Xiang Linglong's father happened to be here. Xiang Linglong left as soon as she got the news. After being trapped in the Heaven Path universe for so many years, it was only natural that Xiang Linglong wanted to go back. Lu Li asked about the situation at the Northern Plains, and Second Patriarch told him about it in detail. There were 4 battle zones here, with several great Emperor Realm warriors in charge. The southern one was under the command of the Reincarnation Emperor. The eastern one was under the command of the Dragon Rebel. The northern one was under the command of Emperor Chu, the most powerful great Emperor Realm warrior of the Northern Plains, and the western one was under the command of 2D, a famous great emperor. Second Patriarch asked Lu Li which battle zone he wanted to go to. He could arrange everything. Lu Li decided to go to the southern one after some thoughts. With the Reincarnation Emperor there, at least he wouldn't have to worry about his own people plotting against him. He could see Lu Ling at the eastern battle zone, but it might not be safe there. Once the Dragon Rebel race learned about his identity, someone might take action against him. That being said, there was someone he knew there, a big brother, Tian Yazi, whom he wanted to visit. "I will stay here for a while and find a chance to go to the eastern battle zone. It's not far anyway." Lu Li made up his mind. He told Second Patriarch not to expose his identity. He would fight against the abyss of demons in a low-key manner and cultivate for a while to improve his abilities. Lu Li was well aware that in such a chaotic world, he would die soon if he was too high-profile without absolute power. He had many strange skills, but none of them were of the Lord Realm. If he were to be too high-profile, he would be targeted by powerful warriors of the human race or the abyss of demons. Only death would await him. Second Patriarch expressed his understanding. He would also send a message back to ask the spatial city not to spread the news. He would also make arrangements for Lu Li in a low-key manner. Battles were indeed the best time to improve. This war would not end anytime soon. Therefore, for Lu Li, Chi Ding Dong, Xiang Linglong, and the others, this was a good chance to grow. Second Patriarch arranged for Lu Li and Chi Ding Dong to rest while he went to make arrangements to leave Lu Li and Chi Ding Dong there. Xiang Linglong, who had been away for 2 days, also came over. The second elder gathered the 3 of them together, pointed at the map, and said, "There's a mountain range here called Dong'an Mountain. It's not far from the southern war zone, northern Goblin City. Our family patriarch and the others are at the northern Demon City, so we'll be safer here. The commander here is our forefather of Heaven's Moon. Ding Dong knows him. You better put on your masks and cultivate in a low-key manner. Focus on improving your abilities. Don't be too ostentatious and don't take risks. Do you understand?" Forefather of Heaven's Moon? Chi Ding Dong's eyes narrowed into crescent moons. She said, "Brother Lu, Forefather of Heaven's Moon is a kind man. He treats me very well. We'll be safe there." "Okay, let's go this way." Lu Li nodded. Xiang Linglong had no objection. The Xiang family were all at the southern battle zone. There were Xiang family warriors everywhere. It would be the same for her. She was also interested in what Second Patriarch said about wearing masks to hide their identities. She didn't want to have flies buzzing around her all day while she was cultivating. That would be annoying. Second Patriarch handed over some pellets to the three of them and said, "These are the spirit-changing pellets developed by our family. You can change your appearance easily after taking them. As long as you are not a lord, you will not be able to sense it. There are not too many young masters and young ladies over there. I don't think anyone will recognize you if you stay hidden. You can cultivate there in a low-key manner." Okay, the three of them took the spirit-changing pellets. Luli became a burly man, while Qi Ding Dong and Xiang Ling Long changed their shapes and appearances. Even though they had changed, they were still two beauties with completely different styles. For beauties, it was natural for them to resist changing into old ladies or ugly ladies. Go! Second Patriarch waved his hand with a smile. A team leader teleported the three of them away. After the three of them left, Second Patriarch's smile disappeared. He sighed with worry and said, "The Emperor Star of Diablo dimmed. The Emperor Star of Myrtle lit up. The world is in chaos. Everything is going according to our family patriarch's prediction. Is our family patriarch really going to fall? Is our chief family going to face a disaster as well? P.S. I have been writing from morning to afternoon and only finished 2 chapters. I am so frustrated." Chapter 26:19. The Dongshan Mountain was 300,000 miles to the east of the northern Goblin City. Millions of warriors were stationed here. There were 10 Lord Realm warriors, but no Great Emperor Realm warriors. This was not the main battlefield, but a side battlefield of the Southern Theater of Operations. The Northern Goblin City was the main battlefield. There would be a big battle every 3 to 5 days. There were also battles here, but not as fierce. Both sides would have fewer warriors and warriors. Even so, there were many divine glyphs built at the Dongshan Mountain, some powerful and mysterious ones. There were tents everywhere, rising and falling like burial mounds. The arrival of Lu Li and the other two didn't cause a stir. They didn't come alone. They came with thousands of reinforcements. The three of them had changed their looks so nobody could recognize them. The 10 lords and second patriarchs had sent someone to inform them. Apparently, they wouldn't pay any attention to the three. The battlefield. When Lu Li and the other two arrived, they were settled in a camp. As soon as they arrived, they sensed the killing intent and the depression in the battlefield. Not only did this not make the three of them nervous, but it also made them feel like they were boiling. They each got a tent and set up camp somewhere else. The spirit transformation pellet not only changed their looks, but also hid their chi and energy. They were no different from regular warriors now. That being said, Exquisite and Chi Ding Dong still attracted a lot of attention. There were girls here as well, but their temperament was not as good as theirs. Ling Long and Chi Ding Dong were both top-notch beauties, and they were also top-notch young ladies. Their every movement and smile possessed a natural charm. Their appearance could change, but the nobility in their bones could not be changed. The two of them quickly attracted the attention of some people. There were also some young masters who were quite powerful and young, and they all surrounded them. Some of them were trying to please Lu Li and Chi Ding Dong by building tents for them. Some of them tried to strike up a conversation and show their identity and strength. Some of them tried to attract Lu Li and Chi Ding Dong's attention by doing something strange. Of course, Lu Li and Chi Ding Dong refused directly. Later on, Exquisite even lost her temper. Those people left in embarrassment. Lu Li found it funny, but he didn't chase away the flies for them. He didn't want to get himself into trouble. Take some rest. The three of them were assigned to an army called Ever Victorious, and their commander was a Lord-class powerhouse, who was also an elder of the Qi clan, Qi Donglu. This person knew who the three of them were, but he pretended not to know. He said, "None of you have fought with the Demon Abyss army before. When the next battle starts, go and observe. Once you are familiar with it, you can join the battlefield." All right. Xiang Ling Long and the others went back to their own tents. Lu Li asked Blood Fairy to lay down the runes in the tents. Not only did he help him set up the divine inscriptions, he also helped the two of them set up some defensive divine inscriptions. Firstly, it was to prevent people from spying on them. Secondly, it was to prevent enemies from ambushing them. Luli went into closed-door cultivation after he finished some simple runes. He wanted to make every minute and every second he had to cultivate. Exquisite Long and Chi Ding Dong, on the other hand, could not calm down. It was the first time they had been to such a large battlefield, and they were just average warriors. What was more important was that Luli would be fighting alongside them. They had thought that Luli would leave as soon as he came out. Little did they expect that something like this would happen. Luli had decided to stay. Since he had chosen to stay, he would definitely not leave in the short term. Luli would not leave until the Demon Abyss army retreated. At the moment, the Qi family did not have the time to send Luli to the Ziyang land. Luli staying and becoming an honorary patriarch of the Qi family not only made Qi Dingdong happy, but also Xiang Linglong. She did not expect Luli to marry into the Xiang family, but somehow she was happy that Luli was staying. Woo woo woo, a day and a half later, a deep and depressing horn sounded. Luli and the other two snuck out from their tents. Seeing that the army was gathering to the north, they hurried over as well. The three of them had a red trident symbol on their robes, which was the symbol of their victorious army. The three of them also saw the victorious army's war flag, and they headed towards their respective armies. Qi Donglu, the commander of the ever-victorious army, was already standing there. He flew up to the sky so that the ever-victorious army could get ready. After a while, the ever-victorious army was almost all gathered. Qi Donglu waved his hand and said, "Let's go. Follow me." The ever-victorious army did not have a large number, only 100,000. Most of them were at the later stage or the peak of the fourth tribulation. There were some fifth tribulation warriors as well, about 200 or 300 of them. There were more than 10 at the peak of the fifth tribulation, a decent army. The ever-victorious army flew toward the mountains in the north. Lu Li and the others had already used psychic power to check the surroundings. After flying for thousands of miles to the north, Lu Li and the others saw the warriors from the abyss of demons for the first time. But all they saw were dead bodies. Giants. Warriors from the abyss of demons were usually tall, more than 3 or 4 feet tall. They were strong and had blue scales all over their bodies, including their faces. They looked like humans, but there were spikes on their backs, shoulders, elbows, and knees. They all had 3 eyes, sharp claws, tails on their backs, and a single horn on their heads. On the surface, the creatures of the demonic abyss were no different from vicious beasts. What made Exquisite Long and Qi Ding Dong a little embarrassed was that these demonic abyss soldiers were not wearing clothes, and there was a huge thing hanging from their crotch. It looked like a ferocious, angry dragon, and it was especially frightening. They're all monsters. Just think of them as ferocious beasts. What is there to be shy about? If you are shy when you are fighting against the creatures from the abyss of demons, then you will die a miserable death. Luli sent a message. The 2 ladies looked at each other with shame. Their expressions returned to normal. They were just warriors. How could they be shy when they were facing the ferocious warriors from the abyss of demons? That would be no different from courting death. Boom, boom, boom. From the north came some muffled sounds of explosion. The vanguard force had started fighting against the warriors from the abyss of demons. Lu Li and the others turned their attention to the north. They used psychic power to check and found the army from the abyss of demons. The abyss of demons swarmed over like a swarm of locusts. All the warriors from the abyss of demons looked similar. To Lu Li and the others, they looked the same, as if they were made from the same mold. There was a difference between a dead demon abyss soldier and a living one. A living demon abyss soldier's aura was extremely terrifying. It was like a flood of ferocious beasts. Their tyrannical and evil aura spread out from afar, causing the space around them to freeze. You 3 watch. Chapter 26-20. Boom, boom, boom. Sob, 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 kill, kill. Above the Dong and mountain range, the demon abyss army and the human army gathered. About 100,000 soldiers were sent to the demon abyss, split into 3 groups, with 30 to 40,000 soldiers on each side. The third heaven sent out 3 large legions, each with 100,000 soldiers, and the two sides started a bloody battle on the Dong and mountain range. There were no weaklings among the soldiers of the demon abyss. Every single one of them was extremely powerful. Their physical bodies were extremely terrifying, and they could split mountains with just a wave of their hands. The mountain range here had long been beaten beyond recognition. Many mountains have been flattened, and many places have been blasted into deep ravines. It was a ghastly sight. The Demon Abyss's army was split into 2 types. One type was purely strength type, and they held standard axes in their hands. When they swung their axes, they could easily split apart mountains with a single strike. Their battle axes would also emit a black gas that was highly corrosive. The other type of Demon Abyss army mainly used soul attacks, but that did not mean that their physical bodies were weak. Once their third eye opened, it meant that their soul attacks had begun. There was another devil soul in their bodies. Every time they released the devil soul, it would attack the martial artists of the third celestial layer. When the martial artists of the third celestial layer suffered a soul attack, the devil soul would coordinate with the devil soul to attack. The lethality was very high. Woo-woo, at the moment, Luli was fighting against a warrior from the abyss of demon race. The warrior had a heavy saber in his hand. The saber had some history. It was the weapon Luli used to kill an old demon at the Blazing Island. The saber was long and heavy, heavier than any weapon Luli had used before. This heavy saber was inscribed with many strength-type divine runes, and the material used was also very special. It could be considered a heavy weapon. Even an average warrior of the Four Tribulation realm would not be able to survive one strike, let alone Luli. Luli swung his saber. He didn't release dragon wrestling, but heaven armor for defense. He activated his heavy saber and slashed at one of the demon abyss soldiers with terrifying black flames. The abyssal demon warrior's moon-like eyes were filled with cruelty. He swung his axe at Luli fearlessly. Boom! Luli was knocked away. The abyss of demon warrior was also knocked back more than a dozen steps and fell to the ground. Luli flashed in midair and swung his heavy saber at them continuously. Boom! At the third move, the axe of the abyss warrior was knocked away. Luli swung his saber at the head of the abyss warrior. The abyssal demon warrior seemed to have smelled death. He put one hand in front of his face. At the same time, the spikes on his back, shoulders, and knees all lit up. The spikes dashed toward Luli in 6 streaks of light. Luli had absolute confidence in his defense. He didn't care and swung his saber. Several spikes landed on him. At the same time, Luli's saber was put on the abyssal demon warrior's hand. The demon abyss soldier's hand couldn't take it, and the heavy saber chopped down, smashing the soldier's head into pieces. He was also hit by a few of the spikes, but he only felt like he had been hit hard. His body felt a bit of pain, but he wasn't injured. He was just sent flying. Buzz, Luli's killing of an abyss demon warrior had caught the attention of other abyss demon warriors nearby. One of them opened its third eye. After a glare, a shadow whooshed over and entered Luli's body in an instant. Evil soul. Luli's mind was weighed down, but he was not too scared. His dragon soul should be able to stop the Asmodeans. If even he could not, then there would be no point in fighting. All the warriors would be controlled easily. Buzzing, as expected, Luli's dragon's soul glowed, and he controlled the evil soul. But he pretended to be confused, as if he was being attacked by the evil soul. Whoosh! A glint of ferocity rose in the eyes of the evil soul warrior. He rushed over with his axe and hacked at Luli's head. As the abyssal demon warrior came, Luli suddenly released his chi and energy. He swung his saber at the abyssal demon warrior. Caught unprepared, the abyssal demon warrior was hacked to death by Luli. As the abyssal demon warrior died, the evil soul in Luli's mind vanished without a trace. The evil soul must be a part of the abyssal demon warrior soul. When a main soul was gone, the part of the soul would collapse as well. Well, this kind of abyssal demon warrior is much weaker than those abyssal demon warriors that attack with pure physical strength. Luli was sure now, but on second thought, he found it to be normal. For human warriors, it was difficult to cultivate both the soul and the body. Warriors like Lu Li who could cultivate both soul and body were rare. Average abyssal demon warriors are not scary. Lu Li nodded. His comprehensive abilities could be compared to a warrior at the peak of the fifth tribulation. If he couldn't kill the abyssal demon warriors easily, then the warriors at the third heaven could only wait to be destroyed. Boy! Lu Li threw a glance to Xiang Linglong and Qi Dingdong. They were killing the abyssal demon warriors with ease as well. They didn't use any treasures and only used fundamental principles. Xiang Linglong didn't even use any advanced fundamental principles. This was the first time the three of them were fighting against the abyssal demon warriors. Naturally, they wanted to have a thorough understanding of the abyssal demon warriors' abilities. They didn't want to expose themselves as soon as they arrived on the battlefield, which would bring them a lot of trouble. Even though the three of them were killing the abyssal demon warriors in a low-key manner, inevitably, many people noticed them, especially Xiang Linglong and Qi Dingdong. The two beauties were already the center of attention. After they realized that they could kill the abyssal demon warriors easily, more people began to pay attention to them. Many people began to wonder about their identities. After all, they were at the fifth tribulation realm at such a young age and not just an average one. They had an air of nobility about them, too. They must be from super families. Compared to them, Lu Li didn't attract much attention. He disguised himself as a burly man, which was nothing special. His methods of attack were average, and he didn't use any powerful fundamental principles. Lu Li tried to be low-key as well. He continued to target another abyssal demon warrior. Soon, he realized that the abyssal demon warriors had a strange way of attack. They would emit a faint, evil spirit, which could affect a warrior's state of mind and make the warrior restless. It would make the warrior have a thirst for blood and lose his mind. This was also beneficial to the control of the abyssal demon warriors. After fighting for an hour, Lu Li had killed dozens of abyssal demon warriors. Both Xiang Linglong and Qi Dingdong had killed dozens of abyssal demon warriors. The two of them had long become celebrities, and some young noblemen began to gather around them. I must stay away from them in the future, Lu Li thought to himself. It was risky for the two to be exposed. After all, they were the pearls of the Frigid Sea area. There were many young masters of the Frigid Sea area here. They would be recognized easily. The two were in the Heaven Dao universe, and they were with Lu Li. Now that they were out, even an idiot could figure out Lu Li's identity if he was with them. Chapter 26-21. Lu Li and the other two could kill dozens of abyss of demon warriors, but it didn't mean that they could do the same to the others. Many warriors were killed by the abyss of demon warriors. The abyss of demon warriors were strong, and their attacks contained corrosive energy. Average warriors would be injured after several rounds of attacks. They could also affect a martial artist's temperament, causing them to become tyrannical and lose their rationality. More importantly, the abyss of demon warriors all looked the same. All of them had 3 eyes and carried axes. Therefore, it was hard to tell whether they were using physical attacks or soul attacks. It was impossible to guard against them. The soul attacks of the abyss of demon warriors were strong. Average warriors would be disturbed even if they were not controlled. Therefore, the allied forces of the third heaven suffered heavy casualties. If it weren't for the fact that some warriors of the fifth tribulation had come to the rescue and distracted the abyss of demon warriors, there would have been more casualties. But there was nothing to be done about it. How could the third heaven win without sacrificing human lives? In just over 2 hours, more than 10,000 of the 100,000 warriors had been killed or wounded. Only 4,000 or 5,000 had died on the abyss of demon warriors. The difference was huge. The abyss of demon warriors didn't retreat. The humans had to fight on. Affected by the evil spirit, many warriors became violent and bloodthirsty. They had lost their cool. This should have been dangerous. However, Qi Donglu didn't give the order to retreat. They had to fight on. Lu Li had his eyes on a powerful warrior of the abyss of demon warriors. He was a strength-type warrior, much stronger than the average abyss of demon warriors. Many times, he could kill someone as soon as he swung his axe. Just now, a warrior at the middle stage of the fifth tribulation was wounded by him. Now, he was on a rampage, killing warriors everywhere. Luli was not far away from him. Naturally, he would not be afraid. After he killed a warrior of the abyss of demon warrior, he flew close to the ground and approached that powerful warrior. Swish! Luli was attacked by a powerful warrior of the abyss of demon warrior on his way. A huge axe came at his back. Luli could have dodged it, but he took it head-on. Boom! Luli was smashed away. He spat out some blood. His face was pale, as if he was badly wounded. Luli staggered to the distance, heading toward the powerful warrior of the abyss of demon warrior. Even though Chi Ding Dong was a bit far away from Luli, he would look over from time to time. Seeing Luli spitting out blood and being smashed away, Chi Ding Dong was burning with anxiety and wanted to fly over to Luli. Don't be rash. Xiang Linglong's voice rang in Chi Ding Dong's mind. She said, Luli is not that weak. He did it on purpose. How can the average demon abyss warriors hurt him? He wanted to kill that expert from the devil abyss. Don't be impulsive. You'll ruin his plan. Also, we're getting a lot of attention now. Don't drag Luli into this. Chi Ding Dong realized that Luli's defense was really strong. The average abyss demon soldiers really couldn't hurt him. Was he trying to hurt himself? Bang! The powerful warrior from the abyss of demon had just killed a warrior. Seeing Luli flying over, he threw him a contemptuous glance and swung his axe at Luli, trying to cut Luli in half. Buzz! At this moment, Luli took out his soft sword. He could not afford to be careless against this powerful warrior from the abyss of devils. He released his sonic attack at once. The sonic attack was soundless. Only a ripple spread out, and it reached the powerful warrior from the abyss of devils in an instant. Luli's soul had been cultivating in the Heaven Path universe for several years, and he had consumed many elixirs. His soul itself had been growing. Over the years, his soul had grown stronger. This time, when the soul attack was released, the effect was immediate. That powerful warrior from the abyss of devils was smashing at Luli with his axe, but he stopped in midair. Luli swung his saber in another hand and smashed at the warrior's head. Boom! That powerful warrior from the abyss of devils was smashed away. There was a wound on his head, but it didn't break open. Just now, Luli had used the dragon wrestling skill. His strength was horrifying. Average warriors at the peak of the fifth tribulation realm would not be able to survive without the protection of some treasures. How strong was the physical defense of this powerful warrior from the abyss of devils? Then how strong must a demon lord be? Could Luli break the defense? Whoosh! Luli didn't have much time to think. He dashed over like a fox, waved his soft sword, and released his sonic attack again. Then he swung his weapon again. Boom! That powerful warrior from the abyss of devils was smashed away again. The wound on his head was bigger and blood was spilling out. At this moment, he came to his senses and bellowed in rage. Woo-woo! As he bellowed, evil energy surged out from him. He grew twice as tall as before and became a giant. Compared to him, Luli's tiny body was like a monkey in the hands of the Buddha. Many people were attracted. Those that could transform were powerful warriors of the demon lord's level. Who was this human? How could he fight against a powerful warrior of the demon lord's level? How could he hurt Luli? The demon lord had shown his might, but Luli was not afraid at all. He flew up and continued to attack the demon lord. When Luli was about to get close, the demon lord suddenly bellowed again. The scales on his body opened up. Evil energy surged out and spread out like a blast wave. This evil energy is strange. Luli realized that the evil energy didn't knock him away. Instead, he slowed down when he was in the evil energy. His divine energy was getting messed up. His blood was boiling, and he was filled with killing intent. Inevitably, his mind was affected. He became violent and impulsive. Watch out! 3 voices came from Chi Donglu, Chi Ding Dong, and Xiang Linglong. Luli wanted to be careful, but he couldn't. An axe was coming at him like a shooting star. He could not dodge it and had to take it head on. Boom! Luli was smashed away. His back was a mess. Many of his bones must have been broken. Chi Donglu was astonished that Lu Li could survive a strike from the enraged Asmodean general. Lu Li's defense surprised him. Whoosh! At Chi Dongyu's order, 2 warriors at the peak of the 5th tribulation of the victorious army came at the demon lord from the left and right. Otherwise, Lu Li would be killed on the spot if the demon lord went after him. Whoosh! Chi Ding Dong could not stand it anymore. She flew over in a gust of wind. She took out the string of beads and began to attack the warriors from the Asmodean abyss. "Brother Lu, how are you?" Chi Ding Dong carried Lu Li out from a mountain and nervously took out some healing pellets to feed to Lu Li. Lu Li rolled his eyes when he saw the artifact Chi Ding Dong used and how many people were looking at them. He was not killed by the demon lord, but Chi Ding Dong was pissing him off. Chi Ding Dong had used this artifact many times before. Now, she was using it in front of so many people. Wouldn't she be telling everyone that she was Chi Ding Dong? With so many people paying attention to her, it was inevitable that Lu Li would be exposed. Many people must have figured out who they were. Never mind, never mind. Lu Li shook his head. So be it. It was not a big deal. Chi Ding Dong was concerned about him. How could Lu Li blame her for this? Xiang Linglong stared at them as well. Lu Li used psychic power to check around. He noticed that many young warriors had noticed this. They were jealous. Lu Li sighed to himself. Sometimes, beauty was a source of trouble. Chapter 26-22. The fight ended after 6 hours. Lu Li didn't take part in any more fights. The Asmodean general was killed as well by the 2 warriors at the peak of the 5th tribulation. The 2 of them killed the Asmodean general easily. It was also because Lu Li smashed the Asmodean general's head, inflicting great damage. Even so, Lu Li still caught many people's attention. Chi Ding Dong took him away and didn't take part in the fight. She had been taking care of him. Chi Ding Dong's string of beads was called Infinity Bodhi beads, a famous treasure. Many people had heard of it. Naturally, some had guessed her identity. Lu Li's identity was hard to guess, but his physical body was strong, and he seemed to know soul attacks. It matched up with the rumors. Plus, Exquisite Long would look at Lu Li every now and then, which made people more certain of Lu Li's identity. Now that Chi Ding Dong had figured it out, then it must be Exquisite Long's identity. The coldness in Exquisite Long's bones was unique. She was the only one in the entire frigid sea that had this temperament. Many young masters were jealous after they figured it out. Almost everyone here was from the frigid sea. Who wouldn't want the 2 pearls of the frigid sea? These 2 were the dream lovers of many people. Now, Chi Ding Dong's attitude towards Lu Li was different. She didn't care about anything when Lu Li was injured. She was still taking care of Lu Li. Xiang Linglong was obviously uneasy as well. She would look at Lu Li from time to time, her eyes filled with worry. Lu Li was not going to die, but Exquisite Long was still so worried. Was it possible that they were just friends? If they were not friends, then did they have a special relationship? Many young masters at the frigid sea were envious of Lu Li when he took down one of them. Many would lose their minds if they could take down 2 of them. It seemed that the top young masters, such as Gongyang Wuxia and the Shui family, were not at the Donga Mountain. They were at the northern demon city. Otherwise, those top young masters would have stirred up trouble. The abyssal warriors retreated, leaving behind more than 10,000 bodies. The victorious army had more than 30,000 casualties. The casualty rate was high. It was no wonder that every once in a while, the second elder would transfer troops over to replenish the number of casualties on this side. Lu Li went back to his own tent. Chi Ding Dong was still worried about him, so she went into his tent. Lu Li said with a bitter smile, "All right, Lady Chi, I am only slightly injured. Do you want the entire victorious army to know that we are related? I think a lot of people have already guessed our identities." "So what if he guessed it?" Chi Ding Dong said without a care in the world. "With old ancestor Heavenly Moon here, who dares to mess around? Brother Lu, don't worry. Old ancestor Heavenly Moon is a quasi-emperor expert. What's more, this place is so close to Northern Goblin City, and the Family King and the others are guarding there. No one would dare to harm us." All right. Lu Li didn't want to be secretive anymore. So what if someone figured it out? Just as Chi Ding Dong had said, The people in the frigid sea region didn't dare to target him. He didn't have to worry too much in Dong Mountain. "Luli, how are you?" A voice suddenly came to Lu Li's mind. It was Xiang Linglong. She didn't come over. She just asked. Lu Li checked with psychic power and replied, "I'm fine. It's nothing serious. I was too careless." "That's good. Rest well," Xiang Linglong said again. It was rare for someone like her to care about a man so much and ask so many questions. Lu Li felt a sense of warmth in his heart. It felt good to be cared for. Rustle, rustle, rustle. About an hour later, Lu Li and Qi Dingdong were both in their tents when they heard some footsteps outside. They opened their eyes at the same time. Lu Li frowned, and Qi Dingdong pulled a long face. 3 people lifted the curtain and walked in. They were 3 young masters. One of them was famous, but he didn't go to the Heaven Path realm last time. He was a descendant of an old demon. "What can I do for you?" Lu Li glanced over the 3 coldly. His eyes fell on the blue-haired young man in a white robe who was a bit rebellious. That young man glanced at Lu Li and then stopped at Qi Dingdong. He cupped his fists and said, "Are you Lady Dingdong?" "No, you have the wrong person." Qi Dingdong knew this young man. She didn't like to talk to him. Now, she was even more displeased. She said coldly, "Don't you have any manners to break into other people's tents? Didn't your families teach you that?" "I am not Lady Dingdong." The blue-haired young man raised his eyebrows. He grinned and said, "Lady, the treasure you just released is the Infinity Bodhi Bead. That belongs to Lady Dingdong. Where did you get it? If you're not young Miss Dingdong, then you must have stolen this treasure." Qi Dingdong almost swore, but she controlled herself. She scolded coldly, "Are you going to leave or not? If not, I will inform the law enforcement team. You'll be in serious trouble." Don't be mad, the blue-haired young man said with a smile. Then he looked at Lu Li and said, "Brother, it is not good for you to hide behind a woman. Shouldn't you stand up and act like a man?" "Piss off." Lu Li gave a simple reply. He raised his voice so that people within miles could hear him. There were a law enforcement team patrolling outside. They rushed over as soon as they heard the noise. "How dare you?" The blue-haired young man was enraged. He was filled with killing intent. However, the law enforcement team walked over and scanned with psychic power. A man who looked like a leader shouted from the distance, "Jiang Yunfeng, what are you doing here?" "Nothing." The blue-haired young man, Jiang Yunfeng, shrugged his shoulders and said, "This brother here is brave, and I admire him. I saw that he was injured, so I came to visit him. I didn't expect that my kindness would be treated as ill intent. Brothers, let's go. They don't like us, and we don't want to be lazy dogs." The 3 of them walked out and swaggered away. The leader looked into the tent and asked, "Are you okay?" "I'm okay." Lu Li waved his hand. The leader nodded and left with his men. Lu Li sighed in distress and said to Qi Dingdong, "Okay, Dingdong, go back and rest." "I am okay." "Okay." Qi Dingdong nodded obediently and said, "Brother Lu, if those people come to bother you again, I will teach them a lesson." Okay. Lu Li smiled bitterly and said, "I know you are good, but the more you stand up for me, the more trouble there will be. Don't worry, I can deal with those playboys. Don't treat me like an embroidered pillow. Nice to look at, but useless. I know you are good." Qi Dingdong stuck out his tongue and walked out. Lu Li activated the divine rune and then rubbed his forehead. Jiang Yunfeng was a nobody. He reckoned that many young masters would come here soon. By then, there would be a lot of trouble to deal with. Let them come. Chapter 26-23. Lu Li had recovered after resting for 3 to 5 days. The abyss of demons launched another attack, but this time, the victorious army didn't participate. They had suffered a great loss last time and were in dire need of repair and reinforcements. There were 10 armies at the Dong Safe Mountain. Only 3 or 4 would be sent out each time. They would take turns to fight so that they could have some time to rest. Lu Li didn't bother to go out now that there was no need to fight. He stayed in his tent to rest and cultivate. On the 8th day, another batch of warriors came. They were reinforcements. Tens of thousands of warriors would come every couple of days. The Big Dipper city was too crowded to accommodate all the warriors. Every day, warriors would be sent to the battlefields. Trouble is coming. Luli heard the noise outside. He used his psychic power to check, and his face clouded over. Many young masters were here, including White Tusk, Gongyang Wuxia, Shui Yuhen, and some descendants of the Mo family. There were also some young ladies. They were the best young masters and young ladies in the Frigid Sea. They had been staying at the northern Goblin City, and now they were here. Needless to say, they were here for Xiang Linglong, Qi Dingdong, and Luli. White Tusk went to Xiang Linglong at once. No matter how hard she tried to disguise herself, White Tusk could recognize his sister right away. He put on a reproachful expression, but he didn't reprimand her. He just went into Xiang Linglong's tent and said, "Since you are back, why don't you come and see your brother? Am I such a failure as a brother?" "Brother?" Xiang Linglong lowered her head in shame and said, "I am wrong. I just got out and came here as soon as I could. I wanted to go to the northern Goblin City to see you, but I thought Father had sent someone to tell you." "Don't bother explaining." White Tusk sighed and said, "You have a lover and have forgotten about me, haven't you? Is he really that good? Is he worth it?" "Brother, what are you talking about?" Xiang Linglong looked at White Tusk angrily and said, "There is no such thing. Don't make groundless accusations." "You think I don't know my own sister?" White Tusk said with a bitter smile. "You almost grew up with me. I know you well. Even if there is no substantial progress, I think you can't forget him and you can't leave him." "I really didn't." Exquisite Elephant bit her lips and refused to admit it. White Fang remained silent for the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn before he sighed and said, "You're not a child anymore, and you've always been a very independent person. If you think it's right, then do it. Life, there are too many restrictions. If I can't have a grand and spectacular experience, then it's indeed a waste of my time in this world." "Huh?" Xiang Linglong abruptly raised her head and looked at White Fang in surprise. "Brother, to be honest, I don't particularly like this person right now." Ivory Fang sighed and said, "Perhaps it's because I'm born into a prestigious family, and the people I come into contact with are all the young masters of prestigious families. That's why I'm somewhat disgusted with this kind of person who rose from the grassroots. However, I can't deny that he's an outstanding person. Since you like him and have decided on him, I won't stop you. However, I hope that you will be more cautious and observe him for a period of time to see if he is the ideal son-in-law in your heart. Also, this person is entangled with Ding Dong, so he is obviously not a devoted person. I reckon he already has many wives and concubines. You must know this." "Okay." Exquisite Elephant was upset. She knew that Lu Li had a wife. Lu Li also made it clear that when he went back to the Ziyang land, he would go to a place in the second heaven where his family and loved ones were. "Okay, I'm just here to check on you." Ivory Fang stood up and said, "You must be careful here. The northern demon city is not far from here, but if something goes wrong, they might not be able to send help in time. So, if it's not really necessary, I suggest you go to the northern demon city. After all, it's much safer there and you can gain experience." Exquisite Elephant nodded. Now that her identity had been exposed, there was no difference between this place and the northern demon city. She could go there and fight without worrying about anything. "I have a suggestion for you." Ivory Fang thought about it and said, "You should be apart from him for some time. Only then can you think things through calmly and rationally. He will not leave for the time being anyway. If you still want to be with him after half a year or a year, I will not say anything." Exquisite Elephant didn't say anything. Ivory Fang's words touched her. What Ivory Fang said made her uncomfortable as well. That was, Lu Li was entangled with Qi Ding Dong, and Lu Li had wives and concubines at home. She was the most young lady of the Xiang family, a warrior at the peak of the fifth tribulation, and could reach the Lord Warrior realm at any time. She was almost the most powerful woman in the world. She was proud and had a cold temperament. The lover she used to fantasize about was unparalleled in the world. He was the most outstanding and perfect man in the world. He was the Adonis in all women's hearts. Lu Li was an excellent man, but he was not the ideal man for her. Lu Li was a playboy, and he was already married, which made her feel a knot in her heart. "Okay, I will go with you." Exquisite Elephant bit her lips and said, "I will be apart from him for half a year. I want to have some time alone." Okay, do you want to talk to him? Or do you? Ivory Fong smiled with relief. His sister didn't let him down. She didn't lose her head completely. Maybe she would change her mind after half a year. Ivory Fong was a young master of a famous family. He had received a high education since he was a child. He was born into a prestigious family and had high standards. He was proud. Even though he didn't discriminate against powerful warriors who rose from poor families, he didn't give them too much recognition. Rich families and poor families were always in conflict. Rich families controlled most of the resources in the world, while poor families were the ones being squeezed. Every once in a while, there would be elites from poor families emerging, and they would often clash with the rich families. When elites from poor families emerged, they would have to compete with the rich for the few top-level resources. Take Chi Ding Dong, for example. This was the top-level resources of beauties. Chi Ding Dong's identity also represented a powerful resource background. If Lu Li took Chi Ding Dong, he would be taking away resources that belonged to them. How could they be happy? Even though Ivory Fong didn't have many feelings for Chi Ding Dong, he still didn't want Chi Ding Dong to be taken away by Lu Li, not to mention his own sister. If Lu Li had his heart and soul, Ivory Fong would feel better. Now, it was obvious that Exquisite Long was going to be Lu Li's concubine. How could Ivory Fong accept this? Exquisite Long walked into Lu Li's tent. The moment she came in, Lu Li made eye contact with her. He seemed to have guessed something. He smiled and said, "You are leaving?" Exquisite Long suddenly didn't want to leave when she saw Lu Li's sparkling eyes and his gentle smile. She thought about it for a while, bit her lips, and said, "Not really. I will live at the Northern Demon City for a while. I will come back to you in half a year." Okay. Lu Li seemed to understand what Exquisite Long was thinking. He put on a serious expression and said, "Exquisite Long, we will always be best friends. Let's take care of each other." "Take care," Exquisite Long said. Then she turned around and left. Her steps were firm and hurried. She was afraid that if she didn't leave now, she wouldn't be able to. Lu Li watched as Xiang Linglong left. All of a sudden, he felt a sense of loss. Would they never see each other again after Xiang Linglong left? Chapter 26-24. Xiang Linglong left, but Chi Ding Dong stayed. Not only did the Chi family not want Chi Ding Dong to leave, they also wanted her to be with Lu Li. All of this was because of what the Reincarnation Emperor said. Not only Second Patriarch, but Qi Wangshan also supported Chi Ding Dong marrying Lu Li. If Lu Li was willing, he could become one of the core patriarchs of the Qi family right away in a high-level position. Elephant White Fang left, leaving behind the water friend Yu Hen and some of the old Mo's descendants. Their target was clear, and it was Chi Ding Dong. Many wanted to pursue Xiang Linglong, but she was Chi Tianyu's target. Nobody dared to do anything to her. The coldness in Linglong's bones also caused many people to feel helpless and keep a respectful distance from her. Comparatively speaking, Chi Ding Dong was easier to deal with. As long as they could win her heart, they would be connected by marriage with the Qi family. Apart from Qi Wangshan, there was another chief patriarch in the Qi family. But this chief patriarch was not in charge. Most of the matters were handled by second patriarch. As a result, Chi Ding Dong's identity became special. On top of that, Chi Ding Dong was quite attractive. Many young masters were interested in her. Chi Ding Dong was quite annoyed these days, but she could not lose her temper. After all, the Gong family and Shui family were allies of the Qi family and staunch supporters. If she offended them too much, the Qi family would blame her. Chi Ding Dong was smart enough not to go to Lu Li, or else she would have brought him endless trouble. She knew Lu Li's character very well. One wrong move, and he would be in trouble again. Another 5 days passed by. Lu Li and the others went out to fight again. The young masters had been incorporated into the victorious army and fought with Lu Li and Chi Ding Dong. Lu Li sighed helplessly when he saw the group of people around Chi Ding Dong. He didn't worry too much. He stayed away from those young masters and young ladies and joined the main force to fight against the abyssal demon army. He didn't take out any treasures. Instead, he began to hone his fighting instinct and skills. He took risks and fought against several abyssal demon army alone. He could defeat them one-on-one without any pressure. If there was no pressure, then how could he improve? Chi Ding Dong also started a fight. She would occasionally look over. At first, she was on tenterhooks, and then she became numb. Or, she had blind trust in Lu Li, believing that average abyssal demon army could not kill Lu Li. Boom, boom, boom. The battle was extremely tragic. Humans and demon abyss soldiers were dying at every moment. The mountain had long been dyed red with blood. Many martial artists were under immense pressure and fighting bitterly. Only this group of young masters were very relaxed, as though they were here for a sightseeing tour. This group of young masters were generally at the 5th tribulation level, and they had treasures all over their bodies. Ordinary demon abyss soldiers couldn't kill them at all. If they discovered a devil general, they would retreat immediately. So this battle was no different from a game to them. Of course, the combat prowess of the descendants of Gong Yin Wu Xie, Shui Yu Hen, and a few other old devils were still very strong. They would often put on a very flashy performance, such as releasing some gorgeous laws and true meanings, or using precious treasures to kill a devil abyss soldier. Since Chi Ding Dong didn't come to Lu Li's side, Lu Li didn't have to worry too much. He was killing the abyss demon soldiers faster and faster. He had mastered some skills and didn't have to fight them head-on. At night, Lu Li once again faced off against a demon general. Last time, he was injured by a devil general, which made him feel a little embarrassed. If he tried his best, he could kill a devil general, but he didn't want to expose too many of his cards. This time, he did the same thing. He dashed toward the devil general like a ghost and slowed down on purpose. When he was close to the devil general, he released clones which turned into more than 100 Lu Li and dashed toward the devil general. That devil general paused for a moment before he locked onto Lu Li's real body. He swung his huge axe and hacked at Lu Li with ferocious force. That axe was covered with black air with corrosive power. It was so aggressive that Lu Li could feel the pain on his face even though he was still far away. Buzzing, Lu Li's hand glowed as he quietly generated an honesty talisman. But on the other side of his hand, he released a ray of light with his saber to cover up the honesty talisman. Whoosh! The ray of sword light flew over. Lu Li quietly integrated the honesty talisman into the ray of sword light and flew toward that devil general. That devil general didn't care about the ray of sword light at all. He swung his axe at Lu Li again. How could Lu Li be hit? Last time, he was already badly injured. How could he make such a mistake this time? Lu Li had already started to retreat. Boom! The blade light landed on the demon general. At first, the demon general didn't care, but when the divine silence talisman flew towards him, his eyes, which were like blood moons, narrowed, and his other fist immediately punched towards the talisman. Boom! A heaven-shaking explosion rang out. The devil general's fist was blasted into pieces of flesh and blood. His entire fist disappeared, and his body was sent flying, coughing up blood as he was sent flying. When Lu Li was attacking the devil general, there were already people paying attention to him. They snorted when they saw Lu Li's ray of sword light, but they didn't expect it to be so powerful. How could it shatter the devil general's claw? Woo, the devil general lost his temper at once. He leaped up from the ground, growing taller and larger. He stared at Lu Li with ferocious eyes, filled with killing intent. He seemed to be angry that this puny human could shatter his claw. The devil general bellowed. Evil spirits were spat out from his scales. Then they were retracted and expanded again. He looked like a demon incarnate, ferocious and frightening. He rushed over. Every time his feet touched the ground would shake. With his axe in hand, he was like an invincible demon. All the warriors nearby retreated, terrified. But Lu Li was not afraid. He floated around like a ghost. Once again, he produced rays of light with his saber. Every single time, the divine light would contain Wu Wang talismans. The divine light was colorful to begin with, and it looked very dazzling. Its might soared to the heavens, and when those Wu Wang talismans were contained within, they became inconspicuous. Swish! The devil general swung his axe down. Streaks of black sword light came at Lu Li. Even though Lu Li tried to dodge, he was still knocked away by the impact. The warriors nearby suffered even worse. They were smashed into pieces at once. Boom, boom, boom. On the other side, Lu Li's divine rays kept hitting the Asmodean generals. The divine rays could not hurt the Asmodean generals, but the honest talisman could hurt them every time. Honesty talisman? Qi Donglu noticed. Of course, he knew what was going on. Others might not know. Qi Donglu was surprised. He was a bit jealous. He had tried to cultivate the honesty talisman as well, but he never succeeded, which was a pity for him. He didn't expect that Lu Li could do it. Could it be that the rumor was true and he was taken in as an apprentice by their family patriarch? Lu Li and the devil general attacked each other while they kept dodging. Lu Li didn't use any other attacks. He just kept releasing rays of light, and every ray of light contained the honesty talisman. Slowly, the injuries on the demon general's body became more and more severe. He let out another roar, and his third eye suddenly exploded. After that, a huge stream of black qi soared into the sky, condensing into a black shadow in the air. It was like a demon king in human form. Qi of heaven and earth gathered around him. A surge of horrifying energy spread out from the shadow. Oh no! Chapter 26-25. Qi Donglu had seen this kind of taboo technique many times. Under normal circumstances, only devil generals could use it, and not every devil general would use it. Usually, when they released this kind of taboo technique, it also meant that the devil general was dead. The Asmodean generals had to burn their souls to use this taboo skill. How could they survive without their souls? Every time this taboo skill was released, it would be lethal. The main target was the soul. Even 7th or 8th rank enchanted souls might not be able to survive it. Sensing the danger, Lu Li stepped back at once. However, at that moment, a surge of evil spirit suddenly poured out from the Asmodean general. The evil spirit spread out for miles. Many people nearby were enveloped by the evil spirit, including Lu Li. Lu Li slowed down. The shadow in midair pressed down like a dark cloud and enveloped Lu Li in an instant. Soon, the shadow disappeared into Lu Li's body. Lu Li could not open his eyes. Clearly, he had been hit. Oh no! Qi Donglu shouted in alarm. In the distance, Qi Ding Dong was taken aback. She didn't know what the shadow was, but she knew it was dangerous. She could tell from Qi Donglio's expressions. She rushed over, but was stopped by a leader of the Qi family. That leader knew very well the power of this taboo skill. If Lu Li died in an instant, the people nearby would suffer as well. What a powerful soul attack! Lu Li felt a surge of cold qi and energy rushing into his body. Then, a surge of powerful energy surged into his soul. From the depth of his soul, Lu Li sensed a fatal danger. My dragon soul cannot stop it. Lu Li had this feeling. Without any hesitation, he mobilized the soul energy in his soul to attack the energy. Now, it was up to him whether his soul energy could consume the energy. If not, his soul would collapse and he would die soon. His soul energy surged forward and collided with the black energy. What happened next made Lu Li desperate. When his soul energy and the black energy collided, the difference was like a small stream against a tidal wave. His soul energy was destroyed, and only a small part of the black energy was consumed. The powerful dark energy surged out like a flood and reached Lu Li's mind. Lu Li's dragon soul lit up at once and began to defend his soul. As expected, we can't hold on. Lu Li sensed for a moment. His soul was trembling. The dragon soul could only withstand the first wave of energy. There were more to come. When the energy entered his soul, Lu Li's soul would collapse. Lu Brat, don't panic. Right at that moment, Blood Evil Emperor's voice came. Then the bead on his waist glowed. An invisible surge of energy entered Lu Li's body and reached his soul in an instant. The invisible energy was like a living beast. It was very agile. It quickly reached Lu Li's soul and began to devour the black energy. So powerful. Luli sensed it and was overjoyed. The energy sent by the Blood Evil King was so strong that it was on a completely different level. No matter how much black energy there was, Luli could consume it easily. Soon, in the time for a few breaths, all the energy in Luli's soul was devoured by the energy of the Blood Evil King. Luli was relieved. He felt he had just taken a trip to the gates of hell. The energy of the Blood Evil King went back into the bead quietly. Luli checked and made sure that everything was fine. He exhaled and opened his eyes. Qidong Lu was close to Luli. He was shocked to see Luli open his eyes. Luli was fine? Nothing happened to him? How did he crack the forbidden skill in such a short time? Last time Asmodean General released the forbidden skill, a regular Lord's soul was badly injured. The Lord was still in a coma at the Big Dipper City. On many occasions, when Asmodean General released the forbidden skill, warriors at the peak of the Fifth Tribulation Realm would die for sure. Can it be that he has a 9th rank enchanted soul? Qidong Lu was surprised. He didn't even have a 9th rank enchanted soul. Even the Qi family, a big family, only had more than a dozen people with 9th rank enchanted souls. Even if Luli had a big family behind him, could his family be more powerful than the Qi family? Qi Ding Dong was nervous. Seeing that Luli was safe and sound, she put on a big smile. People nearby, such as Gong Yang Wuxi and Shui Yuhen, were burning with jealousy and anger. Got a massacre. Are you okay? Qidong Lu asked. Luli shook his head and replied, Thank you for your concern, Lord Donglu. I'm fine now. Glad to hear that. Qidong Lu nodded but didn't ask further. After all, this was Lu Li's secret. Everyone had their own unique means and abilities. Since Reincarnation Emperor thought highly of Lu Li, he must have something different about him. Lu Li stepped back with fear. Seeing that Qi Ding Dong was coming, Lu Li sent a message in a hurry. At the moment, he was the center of attention. If Qi Ding Dong were to come as well, he would become a star. Thank you, Lord of Evil Spirit. Lu Li asked the Blood Evil King. Lord of Evil Spirit, what was that? It was so powerful. That is the forbidden skill from the Asmodean Abyss. The Blood Evil King explained, It is difficult to learn. If an Asmodean Lord can learn it, there's almost no way for a Lord to escape unless the Asmodean Lord is at the Quasi-Emperor realm. This is a powerful skill that they can release by burning their souls. It is very powerful. I am lucky that I have you, Lord of Evil Spirit. Lu Li nodded. The Blood Evil King thought about it and said, Your soul is too weak. This enchanted soul is not bad, but it is not the solution. I will teach you a soul defense skill. It will be up to you whether you can learn it or not. If you cannot, then I will not teach you any more skills. Thank you, Lord of Evil Spirit. Lu Li was overjoyed. The Blood Evil King almost became a Saint Emperor. His attainments in soul were extraordinary, as could be seen from the invisible energy. The Blood Evil King sent a message. Lu Li didn't try to learn it. Instead, he recorded all the information. After a while, he made sure that he had memorized everything before he started to study it carefully. Soul-devouring skill of evil spirits. Lu Li was taken aback. This seemed to be an offensive skill, not a defensive one. He asked the Blood Evil King, who explained, The best defense is offense. Don't you know that? If it is only defense, even the strongest castle can be cracked. This is not an offensive skill, but a defensive one. You are just using offense to defend. In this way, your defense will be stronger. Do you understand? Yes, I do. Lu Li understood now. He was excited. Just the name of the soul-devouring skill was intimidating. He wondered how powerful he would be after he mastered it. Would he be able to easily resist the taboo technique just now? Chapter 26:26. The two battlefields were in full swing and were very intense. Now that both sides were stable, it could be said that they were in a stalemate. The allied army of the Third Heaven did not dare to attack the demonic puppets, and the demonic Abyss army could not break through the defensive circle formed by the allied army. Both sides did not send out powerhouses recently. At most, they sent out Lord and Demon Master level powerhouses. Both sides seemed to be competing in terms of military strength to see which side could not hold on first, or both sides were testing the full strength of the other side, and after that they would attack. Time passed in the cruel battles. In the blink of an eye, the demonic abyss army had invaded for 2 years, and both sides had also fought hard for 2 years. The casualties on the third heaven side exceeded 300 million. Of course, this was including the human civilians killed in the demonic abyss. The army had at least tens of millions of casualties. The demonic abyss side also suffered heavy casualties, but no one knew how many soldiers there were. It felt like there was an endless stream. It was not that the third heaven did not send strange people and strange races to investigate, but no matter how many scouts they sent, in the end, not one returned. There were a few very strange races in the third heaven. For example, there was a strange race that could transform into small insects. This was originally inconspicuous, but it was also the easiest to make people relax. After all, there were many small insects all over the mountains and plains. Who would pay attention to this? However, this race sent thousands of people to infiltrate the demonic abyss camp from the sky, the ground, underground, and countless places in the water. In the end, not a single one came out. There were also races that could turn invisible, some could drill into the void, some could turn into a gust of wind. All kinds of strange races entered, and not a single one came out alive. The 2 great demonic puppets were like the yellow springs of hell. Once you entered, you could not come out. The great elder of the last race was angry and personally went in, but in the end he did not come out and died in the demonic puppets. There were also some overlords who went to investigate, but they did not dare to go deep. They only investigated the periphery. Unfortunately, the demonic chi in the demonic abyss was too thick, and even Overlord Divine could not penetrate it. Even overlords did not dare to go in now. Before investigating clearly, rashly entering would be easy to be killed. The main concern was that there were demon ancestor level powerhouses in the demonic abyss. That would be very tragic. The war was in a stalemate. Although many people died in this war, it was easy to cultivate strong people. Many young people on both battlefields rose to prominence, attracting the attention of the major forces. Some people who originally had no fame at all suddenly became famous, and their names resounded all over the world. Some busybodies had created a rookie list, ranking the 10 most popular rookies in order to encourage more youths to fight their enemies and work hard to become stronger. Brother Lu. In Lu Li's tent, Chi Ding Dong sneaked in like a kitten. Over the past 2 years, Chi Ding Dong had rarely taken the initiative to see Lu Li. She was well-behaved and sensible. She knew that if she pestered Lu Li, he would become the target of public criticism and it would affect his cultivation. Lu Li was a bit surprised to see her sneak into his tent all of a sudden. Although she had changed her appearance, someone would definitely notice it. Seeing Lu Li's expression, Chi Ding Dong grinned and said, "Brother Lu, don't worry. I found a substitute and he is wandering around outside my tent right now. I have already asked someone to move the other flies away." Lu Li forced a smile. In order to see him, Chi Ding Dong made it seem like he was having an affair. Lu Li waved his hand and said, "Say it. What is it?" "Haha." Chi Ding Dong suddenly took out a scroll and said, "Brother Lu, congratulations. You're number 10 on the rookie list. This is a list that includes all the young warriors at the third heaven. It is issued by Super Force, and it is very authoritative." "What is it?" For the past 2 years, apart from cultivation, Lu Li had been fighting. He never paid attention to the outside world. Apart from occasionally asking about the situation at the chilly winterland because he was concerned about the Yin family in Xinjiang, he never asked about anything else. He took out the list and glanced at it. Suddenly, his eyes glowed. He saw 2 familiar names, the Dragon Antelope and Exquisite Elephant. Lu Ling was number 6, and Exquisite Elephant was number 7. His code name, God of Massacre, was number 10. The number 1 is John Doe. Lu Li frowned. He was confused. Demon Emperor Doe? Of course not. They were all of the Demon Emperor realm. Why was John Doe the number 1? Chi Ding Dong explained. Nobody knows his name. He never talks to anyone. nor does he listen to the orders of the army. He just roams around the Asmodeans and hunts down warriors from the Asmodean abyss. He comes and goes without a trace. He is young and strong. He is only at the peak of the fifth tribulation, but he is more powerful than an average lord. Chi Ding Dong told Lu Li what he had learned. This man should be from a special race. Some people think he is from the E-human race, one of the 10 ancient races. But the E-human race has been extinct for 1,000,000 years. This man does not show himself, so we don't know for sure. E-human race? Lu Li vaguely remembered that the E-human race did exist among the 10 ancient races. It had been extinct for many years. For 1,000,000 years, there was no news about the E-human race. It was almost forgotten by the world. The number 2 is Dong Yang. He has been famous for many years. He is the descendant of a powerful warrior of the Emperor realm, Dong Yenu. He is also at the peak of the fifth tribulation and is as strong as a lord. He has a sovereign weapon. The number 3 is Zhu Fan. He is the descendant of Emperor Zhu Tian. He is powerful and has a sovereign weapon. The Qi family is shameful. None of us are on the list. But Lu Li, you are the patriarch of honor of our family. You have done us proud. You must work harder and try to be among the top 3. Chi Ding Dong couldn't stop talking, and Lu Li was able to make sense of what he was saying. The top 10 on the leaderboard were not randomly chosen. These 10 people had all achieved great military merits. Every one of them had clearly written down how many Demon Abyss soldiers they had killed, how many demon generals they had killed, and even the first 3 had killed demon lords. Realm and reputation were of no use. Duels and challenges were useless. Only those who could kill Abyss Devil warriors could be regarded as truly powerful and admired by the world. Brother Lu, Ling Long is impressive. Pointing at the map on the scroll, Chi Ding Dong said, over the past 2 years, Ling Long has killed 63 demon generals and 70,000 to 80,000 demon Abyss soldiers. She is second only to the dragon antelope of the dragon rebel tribe. I guess it won't be long before Ling Long reaches the Lord Realm. Yes, Ling Long is impressive. Lu Li nodded. Inside, he was a bit disappointed. Before Ling Long left, she said she would come back in half a year. But it had been 2 years. Not only did she not come back, she didn't even bring any news with her. It was as if she had completely cut herself off from Lu Li and become a stranger. This is good. Lu Li thought about it and sighed. If they continued to flirt like before, it would be harmful to Ling Long. Chapter 26-27. Over the past 2 years, Lu Li's abilities didn't improve much. What he did improve was his experience and his ability to use the austere talisman. During this time, Lu Li had mastered the use of the austere talisman. The austere talisman was like a thunder trigger. When it was used quietly, it could inflict great damage to enemies. Now, it was too easy for him to kill the abyssal demon warriors. The austere talisman could kill people invisibly, which was much better than soul attacks. Over the past 2 years, he had killed at least 20,000, if not 30,000 abyssal demon warriors. Of course, that was also because Lu Li didn't use the horn. If he had rushed into the abyssal demon warriors and used the horn, he would have been more efficient in killing enemies. Lu Li didn't dare to act rashly because there were powerful warriors of the abyssal demon warriors. If he dared to kill so brazenly, he would be targeted by the abyssal demon warriors. By then, he wouldn't even know how he died. Lu Li had been promoted to a commander, but he rarely led armies. There was nothing for him to do. When the abyssal demon warriors came, the allied army could just fight to the death. If the abyssal demon warriors didn't retreat, the allied army couldn't either until they defeated the abyssal demon warriors. Number 10 on the list. Lu Li forced a smile. The list was not good for him, but bad for him. At least, apart from the Dong Mountain, few people knew about him. Now, he became the center of attention as soon as he got on the list. If the abyssal demon warriors learned about it, they would take actions against the 10 of them. By then, powerful warriors from the abyssal demon would assassinate them secretly, which would put the 10 of them in danger. What was the point of being famous? Apart from fishing for compliments, it was pointless. The abyssal demon warriors wouldn't give them top-level resources or holy weapons or emperor weapons. Of course, for the young masters, it was beneficial. They would be admired by many beautiful girls, which would indirectly help their families gain fame. If they could continue to grow, they would become the mainstay of their families, and they would become more and more famous. They could make a name for their families and help their families to gain fame. Strictly speaking, Luli didn't belong to any family or force. He only belonged to the Lu family. The other families were just nominal and didn't represent anything. Brother Lu, when will this war end? Chi Ding Dong supported his chin with one hand and said in a bored tone. Over the past 2 years, her strength had increased to the peak of the fifth tribulation, but her battle prowess hadn't increased by much. At first, she was very excited about this battle, but as time passed, the novelty faded and Chi Ding Dong found it boring. More importantly, there were too many flies around her, and she could not stay with Lu Li all the time. She was annoyed. She wanted to go to the northern goblin city, but she didn't want to leave Lu Li here alone for fear that something might happen. It's probably still too early. Lu Li sighed as well. He wanted to go back to the second heaven very much, but how could he ask the Qi family to send him to the Ziyang land before the war ended? The Qi clan had been opening spatial doors everywhere for the past few years and had consumed a lot of resources. If it wasn't necessary for the war, all other teleportations had to be stopped. This was an order from the Reincarnation Arch. It was true that Lu Li could go to Second Patriarch to open the portal, but that would be inhumane. Lu Li could still contribute by staying here. He was one of the main forces of the victorious army at the Dong and Mountain. Every time the armies from the Abyss of Demons came, Lu Li could hold back half of the army by himself. Brother Lu, Chi Ding Dong couldn't wait any longer. She thought about it and said, I want to go to the northern goblin city for a while. My parents are there, and I miss Ling Long. Go. Lu Li stroked Chi Ding Dong's hair, stroked her pretty face, and said, You have been through a lot here for the past 2 years. Go to the northern goblin city and have some rest. Don't worry about me here. I will be fine. Patriarch Dong, Lu has been taking good care of me. Yes. Lu Li suddenly caressed her face. This made Chi Ding Dong tremble and her cheeks blush. She plucked up her courage and moved closer to Lu Li and put her arms around him. Lu Li froze, but he did put his arms around her. Chi Ding Dong hugged Lu Li for a while and then looked up at him and said, Brother Lu, you like me, don't you? Lu Li thought about it. Chi Ding Dong was waiting for him. After a while, Lu Li said, Ding Dong, if you don't change your mind after the armies from the Abyss of Demons are defeated, I will marry you. Chi Ding Dong's cheeks heated up. Her eyes glowed, and she looked even more beautiful. She moved her lips in surprise and said, Brother Lu, you said it. You can't lie to me. I will not break my promise. Lu Li nodded with determination. Humans were not plants or trees. Over the years, Chi Ding Dong had shown him affection and unreserved love. She could even have feelings for a dog, let alone a beautiful girl. She was a talented girl, the dream lover of many. Many young masters had been pursuing her for years. Now, she had waited for Lu Li for so many years. Lu Li was touched. Then I won't leave. I will stay here with you. Chi Ding Dong was overjoyed. She seemed to be more spirited. Lu Li pinched her nose and said, It has been so long. It is time you go and see your parents. This place is so close to the northern goblin city. You can come here any time, but I suggest you spend more time with your parents. The armies from the Abyss of Demons will not be defeated so easily. Okay. Chi Ding Dong was like a young girl in love. She would never say no to anything her lover said. Suddenly, she stood on tiptoe and kissed Lu Li on the cheek. Then, she opened the inhibition formation of the tent and ran away. Lu Li was in a better mood as well. His depression was lightened by Chi Ding Dong's affection. But after a while, his mind wandered back to the second heaven. It had been so many years. He wondered how the second heaven was doing. How was the Lu family? Were his wives and concubines waiting for him to come back every day? His father, grandpa, the Asmodean Lord, and Little White. Where had Little White been all these years? Was he already dead? Lu Li's mood became gloomy again on this thought. I will try to get stronger. Lu Li's eyes glowed with excitement. He was not powerful enough yet. As the Blood Evil King said, only lords could be considered powerful. Only when he became a lord could he have the right to make a name for himself at the continent. I will cultivate for a few more years and find a chance to go through the fifth heaven's tribulation. Lu Li made up his mind. After the fifth heaven's tribulation, his overall abilities would be enhanced, and he would be able to fight against the Lord. Now that his physical strength had reached a bottleneck, consuming elixirs would be pointless. The progress would be too slow. Learning fundamental principles wouldn't be of much help either. To further improve, the only way was to go through the fifth heaven's tribulation. However, Tian Yazi once said, the fifth heaven's tribulation could not be helped by average people. Lu Li had to rely on himself, unless a powerful warrior of the Emperor realm could help him. On this thought, Lu Li had an idea. The Blood Evil King was a powerful warrior of the Emperor realm. Could he be able to help Lu Li through the soul tribulation? Don't even think about it. Chapter 26-28. Boom, boom, boom. In the Dong and Mountain Range, a group of soldiers was fighting against the Demon Abyss army. Soldiers were fighting everywhere. Basically, it was two human warriors fighting against one Demon Abyss army. It was hard to tell who would win. Blood flowed like rivers, and the mountains were destroyed. Boom! One of the human warriors was sent flying. The Demon Abyss soldier stomped his feet on the ground and swung his heavy axe at the warrior. The axe contained rolling black energy. It was like the energy of the underworld. Before it got close to the Demon Abyss army, the strong killing intent enveloped the Demon Abyss army. The Demon Abyss army felt hopeless. I'm dead. The warrior closed his eyes in despair. He had just been heavily injured. Now he was surrounded by the killing intent. There was no way he could dodge. However, this martial artist was not afraid at all. Instead, he revealed a look of satisfaction on his face. This was because in these past 2 years, he and another martial artist had already killed 5 Demon Abyss soldiers. He felt that it was worth it. Lizzie, I'm going to die. I can't take care of you anymore. You have to live on. The warrior murmured. He closed his eyes and prepared to die. He felt it was honorable to die for the entire human race. It was a worthy death. He didn't know anything about principles. He only knew that if the Demon Abyss army spread the news, his clansmen and family would all die. Swish, just at that moment, a rainbow-colored blade light tore through the sky. The speed of the rainbow-colored blade light was extremely fast, as though it was going to tear the entire world apart. The sword light was so fast that it reached the Demon Abyss army in the blink of an eye. Boom! A deafening explosion rang out. Following that, the Demon Abyss soldier was torn into pieces. He was killed instantly. He couldn't be any more dead. The warrior was also sent flying by the terrifying airwave. He was already injured. Now, he was heavily injured. He smashed in a mountain below and sank deep into it. Commander Lu. Although the warrior was heavily injured, his eyes were filled with joy. He scanned with his divine consciousness and locked onto a white-haired young man who was flying over. His eyes became misty. He had almost died last time. In the end, he was saved by Commander Lu. Commander Lu had come at the right time. Commander Lu is mighty. Several sergeants shouted. Lu Li kept releasing rays of sword light in different colors. Each ray of sword light could kill an abyss demon warrior. The sergeants yelled at once. Boom, boom, boom. Lu Li came over like a gust of wind. He never stopped swinging his saber. He kept releasing colorful rays of sword light. He glanced at the cheering people, and there was no joy in his expression. Instead, he reprimanded them. What are you making a ruckus for? What are you waiting for? Understood. The warriors shouted and went on fighting against the abyssal demon warriors. Lu Li cleaned up the nearby area and killed some of the powerful abyssal demon warriors. Then, he flew away in a gust of wind. The top 10 of the rookie ranking are really amazing. Many people exclaimed. Ever since the rookie list was released, many people looked at Lu Li with admiration. Previously, there was only respect, but now there was some admiration especially among the younger generation. This was the rookie list of the entire third heaven, not just one continent. The list was issued by a superfamily with a warrior of the Emperor realm. More importantly, everyone had witnessed Lu Li's abilities. It was too easy for him to kill abyssal demon warriors. Even Asmodean generals could be killed. Sometimes it would take some time, but it wouldn't be a problem. Previously, an Asmodean general that used forbidden skill couldn't kill Lu Li. What was more, Lu Li had saved many lives over the past year or two. He was now a firefighter traveling around. Whenever he found out which abyssal demon warriors were suppressing the allied forces of the third heaven, he would go and wipe them out. Therefore, this could easily attract the attention of the powerful warriors from the abyssal demon. Asmodean generals would come to Lu Li often. Once, an Asmodean lord lurking in the army tried to assassinate Lu Li. Luckily, Qi Donglu had been monitoring the entire battlefield and stopped the Asmodean lord at once. Otherwise, Lu Li would have been doomed. Lu Li was now the focus of attention, not only on the abyssal demon, but also on the third heaven. Lu Li's prestige was high. Once he was ambushed, the ambushers would risk their lives to save him. Many warriors understood that if it weren't for Lu Li, many of them would have died. If Lu Li were to die now, then their mortality rate would be much higher. In other words, to save Lu Li was to save their lives. As a matter of fact, some warriors at the peak of the fifth tribulation could kill abyssal demon warriors quickly as well, but not as casually as Lu Li. Lu Li could kill abyssal demon warriors in one move, be they regular warriors or Asmodean generals. 7-colored ray of sword light. This was the main move Lu Li used to kill abyssal demon warriors. Apart from the momentum, there was nothing special about the ray of sword light. Only the attentive ones would notice some strange runes in the ray of sword light. But to others, there was nothing special about the runes. Weren't there runes on many relic weapons and armors? Lu Li's ray of sword light was no different from divine energy attacks. The lethality of regular divine energy attacks was limited, unlike those attacks with fundamental meanings. Honesty Talisman. In order to hide the Honesty Talisman, Lu Li had learned a skill to release divine energy. He made the divine energy colorful and powerful. In this way, he could hide the Honesty Talisman completely. Not many people had seen the Honesty Talisman. It had been years since the Reincarnation Emperor made a move. Even if he did, not many people would have the chance to see it. Many people of the Qi family didn't know about it, let alone outsiders. Lu Li's deliberate disguise was not something that people would pay attention to. After all, Lu Li was on the rising star list. Wasn't it normal for him to have some strange and powerful skills? The Honesty Talisman was powerful. One Honesty Talisman could injure a abyssal demon warrior. If there were 2 Honesty Talismans in the ray of sword light, then the abyssal demon warrior would be killed easily. Lu Li's method of killing Asmodean generals was simple. Every time he used 3 Honesty Talismans in the ray of sword light, the Asmodean generals would find it hard to survive. Eventually, they would be blasted to death. Boom, boom, boom. Lu Li drifted among the mountains and valleys like a shadow. Every time he passed by, he would attract many people's attention. Many people would look at him with respect, which made the young masters, including Gongyang Wuxia, jealous. Qi Dingdong left, but they didn't go back to the northern demon city. As a matter of fact, many had given up on pursuing Qi Dingdong because they could tell that she had completely fallen into Lu Li's hands. Qi Dingdong was a simple-minded girl. Once she was conquered, she would become stubborn. At the very least, they wouldn't have any chance for a while. What was more, they learned that Lu Li had become an honorary patriarch of the Qi family, which made them despair. What did it mean? It meant that the Qi family valued Lu Li, and they were happy to see Lu Li and Qi Dingdong develop further. Chapter 26-29. Time flew by again. Another year had passed. It had been 3 years since the invasion of the Abyss of Demons. The war had been going on for 3 years, but there was no progress. There was no sign of victory. There seemed to be an endless stream of Abyss warriors. The demonic puppets were like ants in a nest. Nobody could tell how many there were. For some reason, Reincarnation Emperor and Heaven Candle did nothing. None of the great emperors were sent out. At most, it was the lords who were sent out. Usually, the lords did not go to the battlefield. They were just there to hold the line. This made many people unhappy. After all, none of the most powerful warriors moved. Instead, they had to fight with their lives on the line. How many average warriors had died in the past 3 years? At least more than 100 million. If emperors had died in battle, no one would have said anything. However, not a single emperor had died in battle, and only a few dozen lords had died over the years. Moreover, these lords hadn't died because they had been attacked by the demon abyss experts, and they had been forced to fight. Therefore, it gave the ordinary soldiers the feeling that all the experts were watching from the back, driving these low-ranking soldiers to their deaths in batches. Of course, many would risk their lives for the third heaven. They were not worried about the scarcity, but the inequality. The soldiers below did not know what those bigwigs who stood at the peak were thinking. They didn't dare to disobey orders either. After all, the higher-ups had offered them countless resources and rewards. Anyone who could kill the Abyss warriors could be rewarded with mystic stones or other resources of the same value. The mystic stones were donated by many families. They were used to motivate the average warriors to fight bravely and to improve their abilities. Many warriors benefited from this. Even though some of them were unhappy, they didn't show it. They could only imagine that this was the plan of the higher-ups. They were not going to fight now because they were waiting for the final battle. 1 year, Chi Ding Dong never came back after she went to the Northern Goblin City. She sent someone to say that her father was injured in a battle and she was staying with her father at the Northern Goblin City. Xiang Linglong, on the other hand, never came back. She didn't send any message either. Clearly, she had either cut off a relationship with Lu Li or she was running away. During the year, apart from killing abyssal demon warriors, Lu Li spent the rest of his time in closed-door cultivation. He cultivated divine energy, consumed elixirs to nurture his soul, studied the method of soul devouring by ferocious beasts, and studied the soul skill in the valley of Tao seeking in the heaven realm. The soul skill was progressing slowly. On the other hand, the soul-devouring skill was progressing well. Even the blood-evil emperor was surprised. He praised Lu Li for his comprehension. 3 years of hard fighting had made Lu Li more flexible in the use of the Unvexed Talisman. He had made great progress in seizing opportunities and performing on the spot in battles. Rustle, rustle, rustle. Lu Li was still cultivating in his tent when he heard some footsteps outside. Then, the rune on his tent was triggered. He used psychic power to check and found that it was Qi Donglu who had come. He was slightly startled. If Qi Donglu wanted to see him, he could have just sent someone to pass the message. Why did he have to come personally? He hurriedly stood up and opened the divine inscription. Qi Donglu directly walked in and waved his hand. Death God Lu, activate the divine inscription. Lu Li activated the rune, bowed, and said, Lord Donglu, you can just tell me if you need anything. Why do you have to come here? You are the honorary patriarch of the Qi family. We are family. You don't have to be so polite. Qi Donglu said with a beaming smile. He paused for a moment and said with a serious expression, I came here for a serious matter. This matter was specially sent down by the clan king. I would like to trouble you to make a trip. Emperor? Lu Li was surprised. How could a nobody like him catch the attention of the Reincarnation Emperor? Also, was there anything that the Reincarnation Emperor couldn't do? Why would he need to do it? Lu Li cupped his fists and said with a straight face, Lord, please tell me. I will do what I can. Okay. Qi Donglu took out a map, spread it out on the table, pointed to a red dot, and said, This is where we are, the Dong Safe Mountain. This is the Northern Demon City. This is the Eastern Theater of Operations. This is the Western Theater of Operations. And this is the Northern Theater of Operations, where the demonic puppets are. Lu Li glanced over it and nodded slightly. The map was very detailed, and the circles were clearly drawn, making it easy to understand. Lu Li asked after a while, What does the Emperor want me to do? Go here. Qi Donglu pointed to a dot and said, Go here and destroy an altar. What? Luli thought he had heard it wrong. He blinked and looked at Qi Donglu. Realizing that Qi Donglu was not joking, Luli was confused. The place that Qi Donglu pointed to was an area inside the devil puppet. From the map, there were countless devil puppets built in the devil abyss. Those devil puppets were connected to form a large circle. At this moment, the place that Qi Donglu wanted him to go to was inside that large circle. Not even Emperor-level demonic puppets dared to get close. Many powerful scouts went to investigate, but all of them died. Luli's abilities were not bad, but to go into the abyss of operations would be no different from committing suicide. "Don't be hasty," Qi Donglu said with a smile. "Let me finish. You're not going alone. There are 10 people going with you, but they're all young men, no higher than the Lord Realm. The reason why I am sending you is that you are so powerful after reaching the Lord Realm. The powerful warriors in the abyss of operations will be able to sense you. The Emperor has given you a piece of artifact that can cover up your energy. The chances of you being exposed will be low. We will cooperate with you. Our armies will launch a counterattack. Emperor-level warriors will be sent out to distract most of the powerful warriors from the abyss of operations. But you don't have much time. You have 10 days at most. If you cannot destroy that altar, then all your efforts will be in vain." "I see." Luli was beginning to understand. He asked, "What is that altar for? Are the warriors from the abyss of operations teleported from that altar?" "No." Qi Donglu shook his head and said, "The warriors from the abyss of operations came from the passageway to the abyss of operations. As a matter of fact, the construction of the altar began 3 years ago. We lost so many scouts, but we did find something. In fact, we got a lot of information. After the altar was built at the abyss of operations, the one at the abyss of operations began. It has been 3 years, and the altar is almost finished. Some of our Emperor-level warriors tried to sneak in and destroy the altar, but failed several times. Therefore, we are running out of time. We have to ask you to go. When you go there, almost all of our Emperor-level warriors and armies will be mobilized. The warriors at the abyss of operations will be mobilized as well. Otherwise, they will not be able to withstand the attacks from the humans. We will build a special door of interspatial space so that you can sneak in quietly. We will also give you a powerful weapon. As long as you can get close to the altar, you will have a chance to blow it up. When the altar is destroyed, your mission will be accomplished. Then, you can build a one-time teleportation door to escape." Qi Donglu told Luli the whole story. Luli had a general idea of what was going on, but he still had one question. Luli asked, "What is the purpose of the altar?" Chapter 26:30. Summoning the Lord of Demons? Luli's expressions changed. He knew very well what the Lord of Demons was. He had thought that there was no one like the Lord of Demons at the abyss of demons, or else the third heaven wouldn't have to fight back. It would be too easy for the Lord of Demons to kill all the great emperors. What could the third heaven do? Is the Lord of Demons really there? Luli asked. If the Lord of Demons really existed, then it would be a nightmare for the third heaven. Everyone would become the slaves of the abyss of demons and sink into oblivion forever. "I don't know." Qi Donglu was confused as well. He thought about it and said, "We cannot go into the abyss of demons, so we don't know what is going on in there. But our family patriarch thinks that there must be someone like the Lord of Demons. But I don't think it will be that easy. After all, the Lord of Demons is too powerful. They cannot go through the passageway to the abyss of demons because it will collapse. That is why they spent so much time building the altar. The altar is huge, covering an area of more than 300 miles. Luli now understood the cause and effect. The abyss of demons hadn't launched a large-scale attack. They must be waiting for the Lord of Demons to come. Reincarnation Emperor and the others had tried to destroy the altar many times. But if they teleported there, they would be sensed by the powerful warriors of the abyss of demons because their chi and energy were too strong. There was no chance to destroy the altar. It would be more difficult to fight their way in. Therefore, Reincarnation Emperor and the others came up with this idea. The warriors of the abyss of demons and the great emperors would be distracted while the 10 warriors of the fifth tribulation would teleport in. They would use some treasures to hide their chi and energy and approach the altar quietly. In the end, they would use a weapon to blow up the altar to buy time for the third heaven. It would take 3 years to build an altar. 3 years was not a short time. Okay, I will go. Luli didn't hesitate for long. The order was given by Reincarnation Emperor. Even if it was Chi Donglio's request, Luli wouldn't turn it down. This was not for the Chi family or the third heaven. It was for himself and for his family. If the third heaven was destroyed, then all the universes would be destroyed. All the universes would be conquered by the abyss of demons. No matter where they hid, they would be found and destroyed by the warriors of the abyss of demons. Okay. Chi Donglu stood up, patted Lu Li on the shoulder, and said, "This is dangerous. You must be prepared to die. Of course, you must try to survive as well. Not only me, but the Chi family and Ding Dong all want you to stay alive." "I know." Lu Li nodded. Chi Donglu waved his hand and said, "Don't go out to fight in the coming years. Cultivate. I will take you to the northern demon city in a month." Lu Li didn't say anything. He believed that the Reincarnation Emperor would take care of everything. He was an honorary patriarch of the Chi family, and the Reincarnation Emperor would not harm him. They would only try their best to help him survive and complete his mission. Lu Li didn't think too much about it. There was no point in thinking too much about it. He would just have to improvise when the time came. If things didn't work out, then only death awaited them. He began to cultivate in seclusion, trying to find a way to improve his 1,000 demon soul devouring art within a month. Since the remnant soul of the blood evil emperor was still here, he felt that there was still hope for him to survive. Although the blood evil emperor was only left with a remnant soul, he was still terrifyingly powerful. A month passed by in the blink of an eye. The myriad demon soul devouring technique had made some progress. This secret technique was actually to further condense the soul needles into demon souls. This demon soul was not the same as the demon souls and other souls, but they had the same function. Both could devour invading energy. Lu Li had condensed hundreds of demon souls from the soul needles. Those demon souls didn't have consciousness. They were just another form of soul energy. The blood evil emperor's secret technique was to imitate demon souls with soul energy and condense them into demon souls. When the enemy's soul attack invaded, the tens of thousands of demon souls would be activated to devour all the enemy's energy. Not all of the demon souls were the same. They were different and had their own peculiarities. Tens of thousands of demon souls could form a formation that could resonate with each other. The formation was horrifying. It was one of the top 10 soul defense skills of the third realm. Lu Li was still a long way from mastering the 1,000 demon soul devouring technique. That being said, he was at the beginner level. His soul defense abilities must have been improved. He was no longer just defending passively. If there was a soul attack, he could take the initiative to attack. "Let's go." Lu Li walked out of the tent and went to Chi Donglio's camp. Chi Donglu showed Lu Li to a tent on the side where there was a teleportation formation. They stepped into it. After a glare, they appeared in a castle. The Dong Peace Mountain was not far from the northern demon city. They arrived in an instant. Someone had been waiting in the castle. It should be a leader of the Chi family. He bowed and said, "Greetings, Patriarch Donglu, Patriarch Lu. Are they all here?" Chi Donglu asked. The man nodded and said, "The other 9 are here. We are waiting for Patriarch Lu." "Then bring him over. I will go and see the family patriarch." Chi Donglu patted Lu Li's shoulder and said, "You go with Qian. There is a special person in charge. We cannot ask about the details. I don't even know who the other 9 are. When you get there, someone will arrange it for you. Got a massacre, come back alive." Lu Li nodded and walked out with Qian. He wanted to see Chi Ding Dong, but it was a confidential matter. Not even Chi Donglu could see the other 9. Lu Li didn't dare to do anything rash. This was a grand plan. Almost all the armies and powerful warriors would be mobilized. If the information was leaked, not only would they die, the allied forces of the 3 heavens would suffer a great loss as well. Luli followed Qi into a castle where there was a team of guards. Qian took out his token, stood at the door, and said, "Patriarch Lu, please go in." "I cannot go in here." Luli strode in. It was dark inside the gate. Luli guessed that this must be a teleportation portal. He stepped in. After a white glare, he found himself in a hall. There were 9 people in the hall. Luli's arrival caught their attention. Luli was surprised to see 2 familiar faces among the 9. Lu Ling and Xiang Linglong were both here. He didn't know any of the others. His expressions changed. It was okay for him to go on such a dangerous mission, but Lu Ling and Xiang Linglong were going too? He would lose his mind if anything happened to them. Xiang Linglong and Lu Ling were surprised as well. Xiang Linglong stood up at once and asked, "How come you are here?" Lu Ling looked at Lu Li with mixed feelings. Her memory was sealed, so she didn't know Lu Li. But she felt a sense of closeness to Lu Li, as if he was the closest person in the world to her. She thought Lu Li was dead when Lu Li suddenly disappeared in that land of treasure. Many years had passed, and she didn't expect to see Lu Li again. What's more, he was going on a dangerous mission with her. Rustle, rustle, rustle. Right at that moment, a man walked out from the hallway of the hall. It was a black-haired old man. His face was cold, and his qi and energy were strong. One look, and Lu Li could tell that he was a powerful warrior of the Lord Realm. Clearly, he was the leader of this mission. Lu Li and the others had to follow his orders. The old man walked to the front of the hall, glanced over, and said, "You must know about this mission. Is there a problem?" "I have a problem." Chapter 26:31. Refusing the mission, the others looked at each other in confusion. What did Lu Li think this mission was? Did he think this was a mission assigned by the Qi family? Could he say no at will? This was not a compulsory mission. It was for the greater good of the human race. Everyone was willing to go. How could Lu Li say that if Ling Long and the dragon antelope went, he would refuse the mission? "Who do you think you are?" Before the black-haired and gloomy old man could say anything, another cold voice came. A red-haired young man squinted at Lu Li and said, "You are the 10th on the rookie list. How dare you ask the 6th and the 7th to quit? Don't you think too highly of yourself?" Ling Long and Lu Ling curled their lips, not knowing what to say. They knew very well that Lu Li was doing this for their own good. He didn't want anything to happen to them. However, neither of them were weak. Instead, they had killed many abyssal demon warriors over the years and had built up a reputation. Otherwise, they wouldn't be the 6th and the 7th on the rookie list. Over the past 3 years, many abyssal demon warriors had died in their hands. Lu Li glanced over to the red-haired young man and asked, "Who are you? Does this have anything to do with you?" The red-haired young man smiled with contempt. He raised his head and said, "I am Dong Yang. This has nothing to do with me. I just don't like you." "The 2nd on the rookie list?" Lu Li squinted. No wonder he was so arrogant. He was the 2nd who had risen to fame recently, and was the descendant of an emperor. Judging by Dong Yang's behavior, was he trying to pursue Lu Li and Xiang Linglong? Was that why he was standing up for them? "Young Master Lu," Linglong suddenly said, "I don't think our business has anything to do with you. Why do you have to ask us to leave? Or do you think we are an eyesore here? You must know how important this mission is. It concerns the safety of the entire human race. If you don't want to go, you can leave." Enough. The gloomy old man suddenly released a powerful qi and energy and said, "The chances of survival are slim. If you are not united, then you will be courting death. You're the god of massacre, right? If you don't want to go, you can leave now. I will not force you." Lu Ling said nothing from the beginning to the end. She looked calm as if this had nothing to do with her. Lu Li was in a dilemma. He thought for a while and said to Lu Ling, "You shouldn't go. You should leave. I will try my best." Lu Ling raised her eyebrows and said, "You don't have to say more. Some things need to be done. I have decided to do it, and I will not quit." Lu Li sighed to himself. Lu Ling had always been a stubborn girl. Once she made up her mind, nothing could change her mind. If so, it was pointless to say more. Lu Li looked at the cold and gloomy old man, cupped his fists, and said, "Lord, please give me the task. I will go." Since you've agreed to go, then don't cause any more trouble." The old man coldly glanced at the group of people and said, "You have to understand one thing. This isn't a war between families. Neither is it a war between people from the continent. It's a war between our entire humankind and the non-humankind. This is a fight for survival. The Asmodeans want to invade our homes, enslave our people, rob us of our resources, and kill us all. Therefore, you must be united. This task is not only about your life and death, but also the survival of the entire humankind. If you want to fight among yourselves, then don't go. It's no different from courting death." "Yes, we understand," University gnome. Dong Yang cupped his fists and said. The others followed suit, indicating that they would work together. So did Lu Li. Finally, Lord Gnome took out a map and hung it on the wall with satisfaction. He said, "Look at this mountain. It is called the Venomous Bee Mountain. We will build a portal to teleport you to the mountain directly. There's a rune on the mountain that our scouts built. You won't be discovered when you go there, but it is still possible that you will be discovered. If there are any demon abyss soldiers nearby, you must kill them as quickly as possible. You can't cause too much of commotion." Everyone nodded in agreement. If they were to be exposed in the past, they would most likely die. Lu Li suddenly remembered something. He asked, "How is the space over there? Is it stable? Can we travel through space?" If the space was stable, Lu Li could fly across the void, put the warriors into an interspatial artifact, and then fly away with them. "No," Lord Gnome gave a firm answer. "The Asmodeans here are filled with evil spirits. The entire space is frozen. We will have to pay a great price to open the portal to send you over. When you run away, we will have to destroy an artifact to ensure your safe return." Pointing to the map, Lord Gnome continued, "Your destination is 300,000 miles to the north of the Venomous Bee Mountain. The altar is here. As long as you can reach the altar and throw in the thunderbolts of destruction I gave you, the task will be accomplished. You can teleport back at once using the artifact." Everyone was relieved. 300,000 miles was a short distance for them. If they flew at full speed, they could arrive in less than 2 hours. "Don't be careless," Lord Gnome shouted coldly. "There are 3 small devil centipedes in this 1,000,000 li, and there are hundreds of thousands of devil abyss soldiers stationed there. No one can guarantee that when we attack, these hundreds of thousands of soldiers will be mobilized. This 1,000,000 li road might be a road of death for you. Once you are discovered, what awaits you will be the endless pursuit of the Asmodean Abyss Army. Even powerful warriors of the Asmodean Lord level will hunt you down. By then, not only will you not be able to complete the task, all of you may die in the Asmodeans' Denver." Everyone nodded slightly. They were all extremely intelligent people, and they all knew that if they were discovered, the ending that awaited them would definitely not be pleasant. The 300,000 miles was indeed a road of death. If they could destroy the altar, it would be worthwhile to die. On the other hand, if the altar was not destroyed, then they would all die in vain. "Do you have any more questions?" Lord Gnome asked. Dong Yang said, "What I want to know is if there's a disagreement in there, who should we listen to?" Dong Yang's intention was clear. He wanted the leadership of the team. The 10 of them were all geniuses and proud of themselves. They were afraid that no one would listen to another. If there was a disagreement, Dong Yang needed to have absolute command. No one. Chapter 2632. The mission would start in half a month. During this time, nobody could go out. They had to wait in closed-door cultivation in the castle. From today on, there would be actions outside. All the arrangements were activated so no information could be leaked. Lord Gnome left. The others rested in the hall. Many found a place to sit with their legs crossed. Lu Li also found a corner to sit with his legs crossed. His mind was in a mess. On the surface, he seemed to be sitting calmly, but on the inside, he was thinking about what to do in different situations. Haha! Dong Ying smiled at this moment and took out some fine wine, delicacies, and spirit fruits from his space ring and placed them on the table. "Everyone, don't cultivate. Half a month's time won't be enough. On the eve of the great battle, we should adjust our mentality and relax. Maybe this half a month is our last leisure time. How about we enjoy it and get drunk? Dong Yang had a unique appearance. He had red hair, a slightly hooked nose, eyes like a wolf, tall and slender body, and a wildness in his bones which made him quite charming. At this moment, his words also resonated with some people. A few of them stopped their seclusion. It was true that they couldn't cultivate much in half a month's time. Their mental state was indeed more important. Now, they should relax a little and recuperate. Only then would they have a better chance of surviving the upcoming battles. If they were too tense now, it would be easier for them to die later on. Lady Ling Long, please have a drink. Dong Yang looked at them with a smile and said, "Don't worry. Everyone here is your escort. We will not let you get hurt, even if we have to risk our lives." It had to be said that Dong Yang was very good at talking. He flattered the two of them without leaving a trace, and he also got the approval of the others. Coupled with his prestige, his words were very imposing. If it was an ordinary woman, she would definitely have a good impression of him. However, Xiang Linglong was not kind to him. He had targeted Lu Li before, which made Xiang Linglong feel disgusted. Linglong didn't go to see Lu Li for 3 years. She really wanted to cut off her relationship with Lu Li. She was a proud girl with self-respect, self-love, and self-improvement. She could accept everything about Lu Li except that he was a womanizer. Also, Lu Li had become an honorary patriarch of the Qi family. How could he be the son-in-law of the Xiang family? Xiang Linglong had a special identity, and the Xiang family had high hopes for her. She didn't want to disappoint the family, so she had to cut ties with Lu Li by force. Actually, she was angry. She thought she liked Lu Li more. On the other hand, Lu Li seemed to be keeping her at arm's length. You don't want our relationship to deepen? Therefore, she didn't go to Lu Li for the past 3 years because she wanted to see if Lu Li would come to her. He had waited for 3 years, only to be met with endless disappointment. Originally, he thought that he had forgotten about Lu Li, but he didn't expect to see him again during this quest. All the memories of the past flooded back to her mind. Also, Lu Li wanted her and Lu Ling to quit as soon as he came. Xiang Linglong felt warm. It meant that Lu Li still cared about her, didn't he? Wait. On this thought, Xiang Linglong suddenly felt something was off. Was Lu Li asking her to quit with the dragon antelope? Did that mean the dragon antelope was as important as her? She knew this lady from the Dragon Rebel clan. She was the first lady of the Flying Fire Continent and the Dragon Rebel clan's favorite junior. She was also very powerful. When did Lu Li get together with the most beautiful young lady of the Flying Fire Continent? How many love affairs had he gotten himself into? Did he flirt with the most beautiful young ladies wherever he went? Did he have hundreds of female confidants? Xiang Linglong was angry at this thought. She walked to a corner by herself and ignored Dong Yang's invitation. She sat down with her legs crossed and sulked. Lu Ling shook her head, showing no emotion. She said, "Thank you, young Master Dong Yang. I will take a rest." With that said, Lu Ling took a few steps forward and then sat down next to Lu Li. She didn't know why she was doing this. She just felt a special sense of security when she was with Lu Li. Somehow, Lu Li made her feel close and comfortable. Lu Li sensed it. He opened his eyes and looked at Lu Ling. His eyes were filled with warmth and joy, as if he had seen the closest person to him. Lu Ling was inspired again. She put on a bright smile, like 100 flowers blooming. In an instant, the entire hall was brightened up. Dong Yang and the others could not stop staring at her. Something is wrong. Seeing this, Xiang Linglong was even angrier. Lu Li had never looked at her like this. Even an idiot could tell that he loved her so much. Xiang Linglong had heard about Lu Ling. She had heard of Lu Ling as well. On the Flying Fire Continent, countless men were pursuing her. However, she ignored them all. She never had any scandals with anyone. She had never flirted with any young masters. Now, she was smiling so brightly at Lu Li. Even an idiot could tell that there was something special about them. Xiang Linglong's expressions grew colder. Lu Li was not a reliable man. He flirted with everyone he met. This kind of playboy was the most detestable. Xiang Linglong made up her mind that she would cut off all ties with Lu Li this time and never have anything to do with him again. Lu Li, She sat down with her legs crossed and sent a message to Luli at once. "How did you get out from that place of treasure?" Luli didn't want to lie to her. He explained, "I was brought out by a powerful warrior. As for who it is, I cannot tell you. Please keep it a secret for me." "Oh." Luli didn't say it out loud, but he thought Lu Ling was smart enough to figure it out. Apart from those from the four forces, there was only one outsider in there. The four forces could not have brought Luli out, so there was only one person, the nameless demon emperor. Luli didn't want to tell her, but that person was on the verge of telling her. Lu Ling thought about it and asked again, "How have you been all these years?" "Not bad." Luli nodded with a smile and asked, "How about you? I see you're number 6 on the list. How come your abilities are improving so fast?" "I found a great opportunity in that place of treasure." Lu Ling had a natural trust in Lu Li. She explained without hesitation, "I learned a very powerful, fundamental principle and obtained a sovereign weapon in there. Therefore, my abilities are improving fast. You're doing well as well. You are number 10 on the list, and you are progressing fast." Lu Li smiled and said solemnly, "When you go to the den of demons, don't force yourself. You must live on. I don't want anything to happen to you. Do you understand?" "I can feel it." Lu Ling stared at Lu Li and said, "I don't remember what happened in the past, but I know you are my family. Our family patriarch said that I will know everything when I reach the Lord Realm. So, Lu Li, you must live on as well. When I remember you, I will come to you." "Okay." Lu Li grinned. Lu Ling was at the peak of the 5th tribulation, and it wouldn't be long before she reached the 6th tribulation. When she reached the 6th tribulation, the sister and brother would be reconciled. By then, nobody would be able to stop them. "Live on. We must all live on," Lu Li said in a low voice. At the same time, he grabbed Lu Ling's hand out of instinct. Surprisingly, she didn't resist. She let Lu Li grab her hand. Dong Yang and the others were filled with jealousy. How could the most beautiful flower of the Flying Fireland be taken away so easily? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.